Gentlemen, welcome to the official Matchpoint Finals for the Octane Collegiate Stage 1. We've had a long semester. We've had a couple of damn good weeks of play. But in the end, we have finally reached the finality of what is to come here. 60-point Matchpoint Finals. 20 of the best teams have competed to make their way here. What's up? How you guys doing? It's good to see you again. Hi, chat. Not Koryu. There you go. There's your not Koryu redemption. My goat. Who's ready to gamba today? We got gambas. We got points. I apologize for no scrims earlier this week. I had some minor struggles, some issues, but we're back. Problem is, we've only got 2 days to go on that 500-point spread, so if you guys want to make up the time, today is the day. So if you're praying for games to be, I'll tell you what, show us the fit. Here you go. Here's the fit of the day. Get that out of there. Here you go. Here's the fit. Ignore my research bracelets. Dapper as always. There we go. There we go. Not Corey. Thank you for the stream redeem. Welcome back. We're dressed up in the suit. We got the Apex necklace on. There you go. All done up and ready for Matchpoint Finals. There we go. Let's get this back in there. Interceder, Tobrick, Atmosai. Thank you guys so much for contributing the points. We are officially now past 70%. We're at 358,000. Let's keep this running and gunning all night long and share with your friends, share with the family, share with everybody because we've got one hell of a show. And by one hell of a show, I mean we've got Collegiate Apex. To be honest with you, I ain't prepared that much for this, but we'll do this. I need Gamba so I can contribute. Fair game. Fair game. All right. We'll start with, what are you guys thinking? We'll start with either match quality. I love a good match quality start, y'all. There's only 1 day left. There is only 1 day left. We're grinders. I might have to stream tomorrow. Oh wait, I am streaming tomorrow. I'm streaming tomorrow. What we have games tomorrow. Let's start with a game 1 restart. That's so We'll get to that in a second. All right. So, 20 teams have made their way here. Let's initially check. What is this match point for? Dr. Suz, that's a great question. Let's bring up the official Octane Collegiate playoffs. So overall, seeds 1 through 20 from the Premier Division will start in semifinals. That's where you can see it right here. So as we take a look at our playoffs, stage upper, lowers, yada yada, we've got our beautiful, beautiful semis. And so today's seeding will come, or semifinal seeding will come from today's performance. So this is ultimately your biggest and best skip into success for Premier League. Personally, I would have liked maybe some more stakes on the field. Maybe save Matchpoint for the true best of the best at the very end. But in the end, this is what we've got for stage 1. I know we're switching up for stage 2. Let's see. Need Gambas because you're saying there's only 1 day. Yeah, let's start game 1. Matchpoint for under game 1. Which lobby are you streaming tomorrow? Callum, honestly, you pick. Pick for the early. I'll stream which one you want. Who is your dark horse today, Wednesday? So not USM, Cumberland, Fisher, and Bellevue. Well, not Koryu. I'm not going to count Utah in that list either, because if we take a look at who we've got playing today, I want a real, true dark horse. Callum, Lobby 1B, I'll take it into account. Now, to win today, you have to have the capacity, which is very difficult for a good chunk of these teams to reach that expectation. You haven't included KSU Black or KSU Gold. By the way, that KSU Gold roster, previous winners of Octane Collegiate in many a split. This is their hardest one yet. But I will remind you that today, they are drinking. We've got some drink shots in chat. We got the boys on soju and more. That the drips fire. Thank you. Thank you, Locke. Ultimately, in the end, I can't even say, Kindly Monkey, that KSU's a dark horse. I honestly think you're biased. I think you didn't put KSU down so that I would say KSU. And you know what? You wouldn't be wrong. KSU Black, is it crazy that even though it's literally you, KSU Black is probably the biggest dark horse where they're not the main Kennesaw roster, right? And ultimately, they've shown the best performance thus far and even have beaten out KSU Gold a few times. Is there a minimum game? No. There is no minimum game today. All right? Official ruling states that when we hit 60 points, you are eligible. Check it out in the Matchpoint Premier Info chat. There is no requirement for games. So if we finish this shit early, if Bellevue absolutely pops off and Vatari dunks on these hoes, that's how it goes. There is no game minimum. So we could go for 4 games. We could go for 5 games. We do not have to reach 6. Guess it's only for champs then? Correct, Grap. Remember, there is no money on the line tonight. There is only the stakes of seeding out ahead of all of these teams. Now, something I do want to point out, because we are going to give you some more information, is it's going to be a 2-2-2 match schedule. All right, so we will be starting with, I believe, where we got this? We're going World's Edge, Storm Point, E-District. And then, instead of snaking back, it's going to go and restart World's Edge, Storm Point, E-District. So if you find yourself in the ideal situation where you're trying to win on that game 5 or 6, 7, 8, your best bet is to at least draft for the second half of that bracket. We're talking the World's Edge in the Storm Districts, right? Because ultimately, if we don't, Storm Point, if we don't get to E-District, we'll see it in games 5 and 6, which, granted, personally, with Bellevue and many of these other teams competing for the top, there's a chance that it could end game 5 and 6. The reality is, though, if it doesn't end game 5 and 6, we won't see E-District again until games 11 and 12. The very, very end here. And as a result, when we took a look at these drop spots, every team is prioritizing either Storm Point or World's Edge. That's how it's going to go, guys. All right, you want to make sure you have your strength where you think you're going to pick up the dub here. The only 2 teams who did not decide to draft E-District immediately were Southeastern and SJSU Blue. You can see SJSU Blue went for Draft Point, and Southeastern, really early on, their 8th pick, they went for Heights. Kind of a questionable decision, in my opinion, for both of these rosters. In the end, it is what it is, especially for Southeastern. They had an 8th pickup slot, and they decided to shoot for E-District. Maybe they're thinking that this is going to end a little bit earlier than the rest of this lobby. Everyone else, though, really prioritizing their Storm Points and World's Edge picks. Of course, I got World's Edge up on the screen here, and we are officially taking a look at the clock. We're getting ready to go. The servers are starting here. So, before we jump in, remember, we are on a 5-minute delay today. I, Zephyrcast, am live. You can catch the scores up above as they update on the pinned standing here, but I'll be here to chat, answer questions, and tell you storylines as we make our way through today's Matchpoint finals. Of course, World's Edge drop points here on the board. We've had a lot of great teams reappear or appear here in this specific semester. Of course, Bellevue University, starting with the height of selection in West Skyhook for World's Edge. This is the creme de la creme. This is the team to beat. This is the premier of the pop, the top of the tippy. These guys are the braves and the bold. Vatari, Juxi, and of course, my man Muffins have been on a tear all semester long, and now are in the prime position to deliver what will be their first official Octane Collegiate dub. Matchpoint Finals has not been something that has been addressed since the Proton kickoff, where they in fact did win it. But remember, we are now in the official season, and things have changed, metas have changed, times have changed. So, West Skyhook and plenty of other scrims and everything have dictated for their early start here. Alongside them, not far away in East Skyhook, is former champions of last championship of Octane Collegiate, Southern Miss. Okay? We got our boys there, Menkdals, Vize, Theosin, if he does grace her presences on the lobby. Pro League optics, but ultimately just as influential here. Other teams to take a look at, of course, down in the lower half of the atmosphere, we got Stacks, completely left alone. No one at Mod, no one at Dome. That's, of course, because we've got the Edge Dominators, the Edge Grillers and Grominators, Mrs. Fisher Esports. They pay for their stacks, they pay for their players, and they pay for success. This is a team that dominates above the rest here. Of course, we started out a little rough this semester, but that was because it took some time to get Dom 2 Cracked and Serial Cat to join alongside former player from UCF Knights, Sloth. Now, of course, this is a extremely hyper-aggressive team, and we have a lot of questions today regarding whether or not they can follow up that level of points and aggression with the actual point spread that will carry them to victory. Not far away from them is another high-end team that we take a look at, University of Utah there in Lava Siphon. Of course, Mez, Mobius, and Narwhal Boy, homegrown talent. We don't give them probably enough credit where it's due for being a homegrown series of talent in what is the competitive ecosphere. They have just recently put on a new coach in Oven Alt and will be potentially on their way up. They did just deliver quite a hefty blow on the scrim day that I didn't quite get to see here. Ultimately, look towards Mez if you want to see the fragger and a half, but Mobius, a former Pro League player, of course, from the APAC region. So, definitely no small slouches either which way. And then, not sure what's going on with Cumberland Thermal. Not specifically the POI. I don't give a shit about that. Not so sure what we're doing with Cumberland right now. I had a lot of high hopes for this roster, but on the second half of the semester, we have been kind of scaling back a bit. Of course, you have your cusp teams like KSU Gold, KSU Black, University of Calgary there in Epicenter, Blue Falcons in Overlook, and many, many more. A couple of further down the line who have had rougher seasons like St. Clair Saints and Countdown, Survey for the Minnesota State Mavericks, Illini Orange who's been middling in Climatizer, the Western Outlaws and Harvester, UVU over in Tree, Temple Cherry with Dash there, and we'll see how it goes. We're not watching Mez. We good off that? Hey, Mez can deliver. Mez can deliver blows. Zyson, I'm doing my best. I'm dressed up. I'm dressed up for finals. What's up, Group T? Welcome. Welcome, everybody. We got about 4 minutes here. Let's officially get that prediction going live. Now, I know we don't have a match restart, so I'm not going to do that to you, but I do love some good match quality. Arguably, this is a match point final. We want to see teams prioritize zone. So, over under 7.0 match quality game 1. Over, under. We got some time here, so 5 minutes on the board. The first prediction of the day, over, under 7.0 match quality for game 1. What does that mean? It means if these teams survive, if they put themselves in a sphere of real, true competitive nature, this will be. Ottawa and Frag East is interesting. I guess. Oh, yeah, I didn't bring up Ottawa. Reformed Ottawa, of course, RJ, Cloaked, etc., yada, yada, yada. They're also hyper-competitive. Anyways, yeah, bro, I'm quitting this dog shit. It seems like you've got a rough Saturday. Can't wait for Ottawa versus Bellevue. I mean, they just slammed KSU. Yeah, I was going to say, Jack's right. If you're Ottawa Braves and you're Frag East and you're looking for some kind of success or setup, if you're moving towards the south, Geyser's a pretty penny there with Southeastern. If you're keeping yourself center, rotate. I mean, you've got Western Outlaws and KSU Black. But remember, it is just 2 games. We'll take a look at Storm Point before we get there earlier. Quitting the game, period. Don't do that, Group T. Take some time, reel it back in, think a little bit, give yourself some more competitive juice for the second half of the go. Going Pro-Narc Raiders. Okay. Southern Miss Sky East is very interesting. I agree with that. I think in terms of being set up in a situation where you have to compete against Bellevue for what is arguably the stronger half of that POI with not much to loot for yourself, it's not a bad rotational kind of POI to get yourself going from, but you do offer yourself a ton of risk by being right there up against Bellevue University, and then, yeah, even having teams like KSU right alongside you on both sides below. So, either way, I mean, Southern Miss ain't no bitch. They're more than happy to take a fight. Utah's winning today. Of course you say that, JC. Woo! Like always, hashtag KSU win. Well, we'll see if they can replicate it and make it happen once again here. Of course, those are your drops. Most teams did prioritize the World's Edge. There is a hefty hand towards Storm Point as well, but we'll get to that after this game. That's going to be games 3 and 4. So, ultimately, our World's Edge favorable here. I want to hear from you guys who you guys think might be on top. Of course, we've got some lovers for KSU, but ultimately, I want to know who you guys think might be on the win here. And by the way, get your bets in. We still got 3 minutes remaining. Over under 7.0 match quality game 1. Boop, boop, boop. Let's get into game 1. All right, we are officially live with game 1 of the Matchpoint finals here. Let me know how the audio stands. Let me know how the audio sits. Of course, we are still on the tail end of the Valkyrie changes in this meta. It was the primary legend that was banned out here across the board competitively. And so, in terms of that, that's probably going to be our game 1 ban, with a lot of teams prioritizing that pickup there initially with some of the legend selection. But realistically, the thing I'm most curious to see, especially with the start here, as early as we are in the fruit of things, is has the lobby changed? Have teams gotten less aggressive? Are we full sending it for the shit stop? Or are we in a situation where we actually are going to be trying to play for the zone here? Mez said something along the lines it was promised him 3,000 years ago, baby. All right. Predictive Zone is officially online here for the initial start of the game. Lets us know that we are going to be heading up towards that northwest section. So if you are a Bellevue, a Southern Miss, a KSU Gold, yeah, no surprise there. Skyhook might be the poison to pick for the majority of teams here, which means we're going to get an maybe not so electric early to mid game, but one that is definitely distinctive in terms of setup for the late game. Tons and tons. Fuck, this is def hitting the lobby over. Yeah, it really, unless these teams really decide to go for the fight of fights here on Height of Heights, you're in a situation where you got even Minnesota early scan reads who are already in a situation where they know this is going to be a Skyhook finish. Woo! I was about to say, I haven't decided. Honestly, we got some time. Let me crack that bad boy open. A beautiful start to my day. Red Bull. It gives you wings. Red Bull sponsor me, please. This is my official. It's a Red Bull. This is the artificially flavored Juneberry edition. Blue can, blue and beautiful. And Zephyr's going to enjoy it as we make our way through the first game. Fisher looting 3 POIs for free. I'll be honest with you. No one wants to step up against Fisher and ruin their early game. Cumberland going to be asked for split 1 finals. Yeah, I'm kind of in that situation too. Now, St. Clair Saints, they'll start us off with some of our first shots and cracks we've seen across the entire game 1. Couple of long shots and landslide, and that could be that early rotate from KSU Black or Minnesota State Mavericks. Wasn't quite looking at. Bing bong! Chug, chug, chug. No chug, chug, chug. Unless you want to redeem some level of points for it, I don't know. Point blank, the Minnesota State Mavericks, though, leading their first fight against the St. Clair Saints. Bees with already initial knocks down. We've sent for coverage. How the hell are we getting caught out this early? Trev Michi, the first person eliminated in the lobby here today. And if you're saying no, that's 58-59. We started with 59 players. Ottawa Braves with a quick rotate from Frag East, going to be making their way into the shots that they've heard here. Quick port set down from RJ to commit for the rotation as well as the pressure. Long-range shots from Cloak prove that he's no Mav on the field, and in the end, shot back that will prevent what could have been early knocks against St. Clair Saints. Of course, Soma and Crew finding something early there with what I can assume might be the northern side zone. We take a look at the rest of this landscape, and the majority of teams have already made their way to countdown. Group T, I agree with you. You already know you're going for Skyhook. Just get to zone. I mean, Minnesota hasn't proven themselves to be a heavily fighting team this semester. They understand their macro well enough as anybody else. Things have elevated here. Teams are going to be moving faster. This is finals. Just get to Skyhook. SJS Blue going to be one of those teams flying right overhead Bellevue University. They're already tracking what might be the first knock for them. Finding Kindly Monkey, friend and family. Quick burn and a rip there from Jukesy. And, well, if you're sliding point blank down, you might as well take it like a bullet sponge. As he frolicking in the field. Meanwhile, the rest of the field is going insane. We got Western Outlaws versus St. Clair Saints. KSU on KSU fucking action. Meanwhile, the St. Clair Saints are picking up final members of the Western Outlaws within the tunnel here. And I can only imagine, with this being a high primary spot for rotation, there's got to be someone nearby. But instead, it is all said and done. Meanwhile, Balvini Guy and Little Hollow lead me to believe that we're already saying goodbye to Florida as well, all the way down there in the landslide area. Temple Cherry going to be looking for the further rotate out of staging here. Port for port with Cumberland up above. Maple is playing today, so maybe I'm a little wrong on that one, but I'll tell you what, Zach W. Keys does make those shots look good. Can't lie on game days, school tag should be required. I'm with you, not for you. I'm always required. We'll see how it goes. All they have to do is put a couple of things. Speed Demon drop from Zumo there from what I assume was Illini, and already we're down to one final remaining member from Minnesota. Schmalz picked up by Pyro says goodbye for the Mavericks. They faced their early ends with Trevici there and are now down and out in 18th with 0. Is that a blue Red Bull? Yes, it's the Juneberry edition, sponsored officially by Red Bull. It gives you wings.
Contact with enemy.
Delicious by Red Bull. Bellevue University here in the heart of Skyhook for now. Also, it's the Sparrow, double pressure down. Trying to see if they can get this back end of the box. But remember, they've got distance to cover. They already got that initial knockdown, but finally, long-range shots on the SEC, which you see forcing to turn to sides. Instead, picked up by a slight final remembrance there of what might have been Muffins. Notably, we do have Thalys picking up the other chunk of that kill, maybe long-distance reach. And yeah, that's because they're in this building just across from Bellevue. So you got Southern Miss, of course, and Bellevue here towards that southern and southeastern side. All right. Meanwhile, SJSU Blue and KSU Gold also in the height of zone. Shout out to SJSU Blue. Not a lot of high faith in this team, as I was ragging on them on Twitter. Low-key, they're already in the heart of Skyhook, but that doesn't mean anything. 16 squads remaining. We're already pretty low and discounted for a game one. The aggression hasn't stopped. University of Utah forcing themselves forward here through the edges of landslide, also trying to prioritize what might be the rotate. Illini Orange behind the likes of Calgary as University of Utah forced to turn around here as the Ottawa Braves once again try to readdress this choke line. No real knocks or sight lines to be seen, once again proving that there is no Mav to this team. In this event, they're going to have to back their way to choke here. And shot up on high. My lord, they are really struggling to set themselves up. Alabama to be the team. Roll Tide. Pushes them back out. I love Red Bull. Send this to Red Bull because I love Red Bull. All right. Take our time with Alabama. They're going to be opting for the countdown side, especially after seeing that little bit of a lazed rotate through the upper choke there from Utah. Remember, there's still plenty of buildings available, but until the teams really contest for space, fighting is still very much a possibility here in Skyhook. KSU Gold getting themselves in that pseudo-major tower outside the south center here of Skyhook. At least for now, joking out the other end. Meanwhile, Viz with long-range knocks against Soma. Don't think it's going to be a full thirst, given the current proximity. Granted, Southern Miss has opted to rotate all the way to the north for some reason to play on the central spire for the end game. Don't know if that's going to end up with that full wipe against Illini, but seeing as they look to be a duo already, they're going to be trying to play for reset here, but that's difficult in the heart of Skyhook. Blue Falcons late rotates. The rest of these teams just getting themselves set up here. SJSU Blues, Nikosu, Ari with a knock onto Parkson. I'm going to tell you right now, Illini, unless they're ratting and running, aren't long for this world in the kill feed. Shrub and True looking. They got their sights actually trained on USM for now, and instead, Zumo is the one to find out another. Beats the 1v1 on Nikosu. Could also stick this on Parksa, utilizing the Mirage passive, and SJSU Blue are now actually up and even here against Illini, share for share. Kind of an egotistical play there from Nikosu. Going to be the situation where they have to set themselves up. Meanwhile, Mez, Mobius, and maybe Narwhal Boy on their way out. A couple of extra shots there. A dip and a dive from the remnants here of Illini, making their way across to center. Looks like Blue Falcons and a couple of pieces of the pie not quite set up for success towards the southern side. We'll check in with the University of Utah here, centering the central spire underneath the rest of these contests. Mobius was completely thirsted out here, but they at least got the res onto Mez. Playing the central spire? Whatever that means, man. Whatever that means. If I'm dressed like this, you know, it's the attention I start getting, it's an issue. It's a struggle. All right, Blue Falcons, KQ All, Nipfin, and 6 Pyro there. On their way out. Lost Aimer and FPS Aether, by the way, looking to be playing as a solo. Meanwhile, Fisher, first time we've seen them represent here. Looks like a revive might have just came through for the KSU Black squad.
Let's relocate there.
Let's see. A couple of extra shots onto Void. He's represented as Limbo in game, but that's none other than Void himself. Let's see what we've got here. Dom2 Cracked leading the charge into Fisher. There's a big separation from KSU Black, at least for now. Not much to say. They might find it, they might not. They get that full thirst on the Limbo in the time being. Cumberland University playing from height outside of trials. Could be good. We do have a slightly heavy rotate towards the western side. This is something that can pull out towards that open field. Meanwhile, SJSU Blue finished up in their final moments there. Looks like Maple up on height gets that final one, and Utah finally picked apart in their singles. 14 squads remaining on a round 2 close. We are a little bit elevated for a Skyhook finish. Port for Port's in front of Utah Valley Black competing for this building. Remember, this held by SJSU Blue now empties a prime position for any one of these teams to take up real estate. But remember, you've got to contest against this height against Cumberland, and like that Port played on the bottom, so many of these teams are going to try to work their way out west. This looks to be one of those more Western-oriented finishes for the final moments of Skyhook here. That's why you see the prioritization. Look towards Illini Orange, Temple Cherry, and maybe KSU Black. They have lost out on one. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Fisher Esports work their way into a fight there, especially the way they're eyeing up potentially Alabama out and over to the side. Utah Valley Black, I've been really impressed with them this semester. Kind of turning up the heat here on the very cusp of teams. Make their way in on the very lower end of the bracket. Meanwhile, check it with Fisher. I said they were eyeing Alabama. Let's see if they find the tides that be. Breaks that drone so they don't have the EMP pressure alive and ready. Meanwhile, the Crimson Tide already pushed off of the height and back. Fisher taking for their own takes. You don't know missing that freeze pump right there, and there comes the response of an EMP on the edge. Low now with a couple of sky nades. They've got nowhere to run. One final port for the potential savior, but Riceway just as quickly beamed out. Cumberland University with a couple of kills there. Zach W. Keys picking up the majority, but Fisher on the other side could potentially lead into more. Is Future Streams playing? No. Hi, Zephyr. Hi, Ever. Yeah, Future plays tomorrow. All right. Zach W. Keys to retreat up onto height there for Cumberland University. They've still got a beam and a half up onto Fisher there. Sloth, Dom2 Cracked, and Serial Cat gonna have to slow themselves down. Meanwhile, Southeastern in the kill feed. A knock onto the wrecked Emporium himself. Previous champs, KSU, Kennesaw. Maybe potentially in dire straits, but granted, this is Skyhook, y'all. Remember, you got a lot of chances to get yourself into a place of safety, especially if you're just getting knock for knock on the buildings. Fisher gonna take their time on the edge of countdown here. I really like this. Personally, for me, the slow rotate in, especially if we're gonna be more Western oriented, is good. Is this finals, or is there more then? This finals, dog, is to determine the seeding for semifinals later. So right now, this is Premier. Only teams that interact in Premier are the Premier caliber teams. We go into playoffs, though. Teams have worked all semester, and so we have 2 separate lower divisions, Contenders and Open. They're going to potentially compete for their chance to play against these upper-oriented teams in a massive, gigantic elimination bracket. Talk about it maybe a little bit more later on the stream, but for now, all you really need to know is the better you play today, the further you will make it with better seeding here in the playoffs. Fisher Esports now controlling the edge of countdown. This is a big fight for them right now. If they get these wipes, they're going to be the solo defending team on the southern side of zone here. Blue Falcons were low on that cost, but now trying to set themselves up here. Major crack 72. What the fuck is Dom doing? Maybe he crashed. Maybe he lost his brain. The Blue Falcons now in a 2v3 scenario there, leading for the Sparrow Ultimate. A knock on the Serial Cat. They are ticking lower and lower, but a burn from behind will send Fisher packing in 13th place. This is a shock and a half, and the only thing I have to question is, was Dom alive? There's no way he was actually playing there. He had to have gotten DC'd. University of Calgary going to follow up this in a third-party situation against the Blue Falcons. Ports for Ports back to building. Remember, it is Lost Aimers and FPSA, though. They want to get this full thirst there on the 6th Pyro to even the playing field no matter what. So close in the 1v3 against USM. Well, we'll see how close it gets for Calgary here. Point blank with a knockdown shield. Now it's KQ all v1. Ports through the other side zone. Almost gives himself away in a 1v1 scenario here. Competing for the edge of zone. Remember, with time ticking, there isn't a lot on the board. They have to make their way into Skyhook because it does cater slightly back more into the POI. Point Black behind the knockdown shield. Go try and get themselves a new setup. Meanwhile, Bellevue with a wipe onto Ottawa, one of the better teams in the lobby. Couple of forced plays instead of quick dive and a dash. The Blue Falcons will be eliminated here. How much will you take? One shot per Inti play from Cumberland, Bellevue, or Ottawa? Sadly, Tonti, I don't drink. How much? It would probably be like 10K. So pay me $10,000, I'll take a shot, but I don't drink. I've never drank before. Let's go, Calgary. And they have just enough time, by the way, for Calgary to set themselves up for a place in zone. 10 squads remaining here. A couple of squads losing out on a few players, but in the end, Bellevue, Cumberland, Southern Miss, Illini Orange, Temple Church, KSU Black, KSU Gold, Utah Valley Black, U of C, and maybe one more team that I just missed. A couple of teams that prioritize the Western Pole, especially after what looked to be a deeper dive, now have to reprioritize getting back in the zone. This final finish does have a lot of fence lines in play here, but ultimately prioritizes a lot of survivability towards that central spire. Doesn't mean the height and center wins. It just means that it's going to allow you to work your way into that top 5 a little bit better. Need to drive, Zach. There you go. There you go. There you go. Who is Bellevue? Who is Bellevue's IGL? God. They pray to him. Simplicity losing out of one is the Calgary squad, even as a duo is finding knock for knock here. Couple of full thirst and beam back will push FBS Aether in and against the wall for now. Let's take the time. Almost could have been a much more even fight there, but instead revives for revives. Southeastern in the building across from them, and a couple of scans might mean the end of Southeastern. They've already lost on across their health, but a couple of beams from above tells me the send has arrived. It's none other than Incroc. Utah Valley Black, though, facing knock for knock of their own. And the only thing I can think of is there's got to be a third party on the exterior here. Vortex tries to escape, but instead is quickly shot out. Meanwhile, KSU Gold, this is the follow-through. This is the squad we were waiting to see. Wrecked up above, a dive from Aegis, and the KSU Gold squad finds their response. Couple of beams down below, and the University of Calgary team tries to play for the repeat advantage, but instead runs right into the open waiting arms of the Kennesaw Gold roster. 7 squads remaining, a zone close away. Bellevue have lost out on Voddery. It's a beam from Maple, but in the end, Cumberland will lose out. We missed out on the first part of that fight. Bellevue for resets on high. KSU and Illinois down below. Temple Cherry burned from KSU Bold on the behind. Remember, Gold have drank tonight. They've got the alcohol flowing in their blood, in their veins, in their membranes here, and potentially are on their way up. Top 5. This is where the placement counts. Remember, it's a race to 60. Illini's got nowhere to go. They're feeling the burn, and they're feeling the pressure from above. Voddery, look at that. Kraber in the hands. 4 squads remaining. KSU Gold, I assume KSU Black, Bellevue University, and my expectation is USM. There we go. Quick checkup on KSU Black. They did lose out on Limbo. Kindly Monkey up above here. Looks you're stuck down below in his box of boxes. There we go. USM free win. Depends on how it goes, baby. Bellevue, they've got their eyes peeled here on KSU Gold. Couple of distant burns. That tells me we've got a fuse. Game 1 here with the knuckle cluster there from USM up above. Drill for drill as looks like a Moby just came down from KSU Gold. Remember, this height is good, but it depends on the drop. You get a little check there. KSU's going to get that revive, but I can't imagine it'll be left unpunished here. Remember, USM are going to be forced to drop out here fairly early on, and they are sharing space with KSU Black right below them. That's not going to be a guaranteed dub for USM, especially if they have to compete for this space here. Meanwhile, KSU Gold able to get misplays back into it. A couple of quick loops and boots, but Bellevue is over on your side. You have to hope and pray someone is covering for you. KSU finally on their rotate, and it is violence on violence for the sister squads. A couple of extra walls placed down, Rex on the stick there. Bellevue trying to play for their own chunk of success, but instead, beams for beams, drills for drills, absolutely shredding through the paint. Voddery from afar, and it's going to be Vod all day long. Bellevue on the exterior, and finally, Southern Miss rotating through the edge. They've got a little bit of a line sight onto KSU up above, but Viz and Make have taken to the low ground. That's going to put them right in the eyes of both Bellevue and KSU Black. You've got to be fucking stupid, but in the end, you lose out on height either way here. Bellevue University now in a 2v3 scenario, and was it ever really a question? One quick knock, a single further beam here, and for game one, it can only be but Bellevue University. Woo! Why my boy Coozer catching strays in chat? What is this? You fuck with the Utah coach, Goat Zeffington? Of course I do. Of course I do. Zone plot armor, fraud win. I don't know about that. Best of the best is best of the best, boys. Congratulations to Bellevue on their dub of the day. Here's the thing, though, guys. Remember, we've got so many competitive teams in this lobby. It is not a shit stomp. That means we are spreading the points a little bit fairly even here, albeit Bellevue University almost making up half of the necessary score here to get themselves set up for Matchpoint. Remember, the number to hit is 60. Maybe we got to get on that southeastern mindset, especially with E-District here. Of course, 29 points, 17 KP. They pick up the majority of those final fights there against USM, KSU Gold, and KSU Black. That's going to be 8 KP for Jukesy there with a 3.3 thousand. Vatari with 6 KP with 3.5. Muffins also looking actually quite well there. At least 1.7, nothing too shy at. KSU's worst enemy is KSU. Hilarious. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, excellent. All right, we got about 4-ish minutes here till we get into game. Let's take a look at that managed prediction. I asked y'all over under 7.0 match point quality. It was a 6.32. A couple of teams dying just a little bit too early. I pointed that out in the round 1 and 2 close there. Didn't have the height of heights here. So, the under, congratulations to those of you. If you guys know how we like to do it here in terms of the predictions, I always look towards KP. So, over, under, Bellevue University. Let's go for a higher end for them. 8.5 KP. Over, under. You saw what they can do at their best. Now let's see what they can do potentially at their worst. 5 minutes on the board. Get your bets in. Bellevue University, your next bet. Over, under 8.5 KP. Notice, mid-end game, KSU Gold misplaced, dropped his beer. Oh. Run it back. Admin, restart. I'm dying, guys. All right. I want to give you guys a little bit of taste of the future here. The lovely folks from Octane have opted to provide me some extra information out ahead. You guys came into chat and you asked, what are we looking like for the future? Here is official playoff structure. It will begin starting tomorrow. The upper round where we got Premier mixing with Contenders later in the day. And of course, the bottom, which will have a little bit of open and a little bit of Contenders there in your lower round. Those teams will already be officially eliminated from our fall semester or stage 1 of Octane. Those will move on to next weekend in November 22nd, where you will compete to make your way in. Of course, there is a further lower round down below that will work its way into semifinals. And then this is where we are really talking about for today. These teams, depending on how they perform in this specific match point finals, will be seeded out for these semifinals going into playoffs here. All right, so this is what they're competing for, the best setup. It's not a guaranteed finals, but it is going to help you skip a hell of a lot of weeks. Whether that's good or wrong for you, 2 weeks of relaxation is definitely a better place to be than fighting through the smudge and the dirt here in Contenders and down below and open. So props where it's due. That will begin tomorrow as early as 2 p.m. on the lower end of the bracket, and later that night at 6 p.m., I believe. 7 p.m. Eastern's a little earlier than I'm used to on a Saturday. Not quite sure. All right. Either way, we'll see how it goes. Plenty of time on the board. In the end, all that matters is today. We've got, of course, the match point finals. I didn't check up on this final point score here. 29 for Bellevue, 14, though, for KSU Gold, 13 for Southern Miss and KSU Black there with 12. Relatively kind of consistent. KSU Gold and every kind of flipped the script there with a lot of KP picked up in retrospect. Illini Orange in 5th place. The biggest ones to point out are going to be, of course, Ottawa, Blue Falcons, and St. Clair. They're the only ones to really work away with some real KP here. Some big failures to start off the day, though. I mean, honestly, all these teams have been particularly great. Mez and them, as you heard, lose the fight against USM. And, of course, Fisher Esports. We saw them drop the ball there in their exchange. So, potentially some time to turn it around. We will be introducing World's Edge here in a second, but that's where we're at. Get your final bets in. 2 minutes to go. Over under Bellevue University, 8.5 KP. I want to see those bets. I want to see those things. And, of course, enlighten the rest of you who provided points. Thank you so much. We are already 73% of the way there, 367. And hopefully today goes long because we need quite a few more points. All right. With that being said, let's jump back in to the next game. Dom's internet did go out. All right. Dom 2 crashed. All right. So we did officially get some confirmation on that fight. Fisher did not have Dom there, so that's why he was standing still in the muck. So I knew something was up. There's no way that dude's standing fucking still in Apex Legends. Mez said they're up in fights on every team except USM because they've never fought. USM is the only team who is up in Utah. Huh. Good to know. I could totally see that, though. I would be very shocked if is Utah up against Bellevue? Trev got subbed out? No. What? I'm going to have to get some confirmation there. I know the Minnesota State Mavericks have a couple of issues occasionally, but I'd be shocked. He's playing for MNSU? What? I mean, no diss to my boy Gravity. I love my boy Gravity. That's insane, though. Why? All right. Little Coach Zephyr talking here. Number one priority with the team will always be mentality and safety and structure. In the end, if there's a culprit to that safety and structure, then you gotta do what's best for the team. Could be that. Could be just projecting. Could ultimately just be connection issues. MNSU does run into something like that. I don't know. Either way, I think the MNSU roster is very talented, and they have a really supreme set of players. But, wait, Minnesota's got a long way to go in the collegiate sphere. All right, just sub me in over Gravity. I mean, a Callum a day takes the pain away. Honestly, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in Minnesota. Is mentality the reason Ralph is so good at blank and blank? I'll be honest with you. Tamu either has... I'll say this. We have progressively gotten worse with mentality. Like, we lost Anthony, who was as stable as a fucking rock. And then we lost Fiddle, who was also stable as a rock and hyper-confident. And so, mentality-wise, Tamu was highly struggling. Truth be told, my main job as a coach has always been just keeping the boys. Either way, that's a story for a team for playoffs. Ottawa Braves here are being pressured back. They set up in frag and now lead into what I assume might be the KSU Black roster early here. A couple of quick heals from RJ and maybe what might be a further push. You can see the southern side of that squad already making their way across there. Elixers is trained on the eye-line back. Kindly Monkey being shot out, though, tells me that they've been found, yeah, by someone else. Western Outlaws, and now, as a Tuvo, have to defend against the Ottawa squad after such a great start for KSU Black. It'd be such a shame to see them go this way this early. Well, point blank, Void will run into the muzzle of Cloak there. You got one remaining member of KSU. Now, remember, last game we saw an early knock onto KSU Black, so... Not to say they can't make this revive count, but this is such a struggle and a half. Is Calgary still a duo? Judging by those two knocks and 59 on the board, I'm going to say yes. All right. KSU, Gold, and a couple other squads. Alabama here in the heart of landslide. Hopefully they're playing for recovery because they're being shot in the back. A couple of extra information provided as they'll get themselves out and away. Meanwhile, Cumberland... Long-range knocks there onto UVU. Schmiggles. Don't know if that's going to lead to much more here. Slasher traded as Inrock finds one. A couple of long-distance shots, and Slasher will inevitably be thirsted out here over on the side. Maple is covering for this one. Not a lot of unity in these squads. Either way, Maple with one final beam will do enough to find Inkroc down. It's just one remaining member of this roster. Southeastern, in the meanwhile, picked apart by Pyro here. A very quick and expedient knock. We didn't even get to see the setup. A couple of the rest of these rosters are absolutely exploding. Cumberland trying to search for these final moments, but instead trying to deliver to the beacon, get Slasher back into the game here, all the way over by Thermal. Utah a little bit more successful. We see their initial start against what was KQ All, and the rest of these squads coming out of, I believe it was Overlook. If that is Blue Falcons. Looks like they've got a little bit of an escape. Yeah, you can see it all the way to the epicenter there. So careful with their shots. Fisher Esports could be falling through on Geyser sometime soon, but maybe are still delayed. Temple Cherry thirsts that final member of UVU from the other side of Cumberland University, and they'll finish them off and send one of our first teams out as well. Guys, why are we fucking inting this hard in a Matchpoint finals? Literally every team is just dying off rip. Outlaws. Ottawa runs into St. Clair Saints, who might have been on the slower rotate coming out of the edge of zone, or maybe walked into them on Monument. I don't have that information, but in the end, hopefully they get the reset. Maybe. Southern Miss v. Bellevue up north might potentially be something to break out here. Western Outlaws, KC Gold, the majority of these teams now trying to set themselves up in the heart of Monument for the end game. Building for building. This is pretty damn good. I don't personally like playing on the exterior of zone, but hey, gotta work what you gotta work. Meanwhile, Bellevue University, we talked about it, edge of zone here. USM already running for the runs here. USM gonna drop that Rolling Thunder. And did I hear a Loba? Hold on, am I going crazy? Did I hear a Loba bracelet? All right, point blank up above. USM's Makey already brought down there at the heart of Juicy. Full thirst to be exchanged, but Dallas from the other side of the equation brings it back for a 2v2 situation. Point blank, Maggie Balls bring Vizay down. They got to turn this tail again. Vattery this time does get knocked in the exchange from the other side of the way, and Dallas now spotted out from both of these. Maybe forced to port back. Instead, here comes Juxi, full sending for the cross. Point blank, and there's the port to follow suit. He's going to opt to go for the portal. He knows he's got it. All right, here we go. Up on high. Probably Dashton running away almost immediately. A little bit of a cross leap fade there, and come on, just a little bit more. If I was Juxi, I'd be very careful. Low on health and running straight into where he potentially wants him.
Hostile spotted.
Dallas is booling it.
Target over there.
We'll see. I mean, in the end, they still have the numbers advantage. You got the evacs exchange. Vattery leading the chase out in front. Lands right in the face of Dallas, and there's the final thirst. Vattery, though, will be knocked in return. SJS used the Kosu. Prime positioning in the heart of the Grandma's building there. Shmub looking for that just as equal exchange, and Bellevue might have bitten off as much as they can chew here. They've got the building, and Jack may be right, y'all. Potential inting moments here from Bellevue. Granted, I also would have gone for the finish of that KP. Yeah, it looks like they're going to have to retreat over towards Survey Camp for now. Instead, we'll tune in with the Ottawa Braves squad, who, once again, struggle bust be damned. Point blank with nowhere to go. KSU Gold putting some fucking greed on them bitches. Goddamn. KSU Gold sends Ottawa packing, and woo! Pain. That's the only thing on the mind here. KSU Gold dropped in return. The only preventative measure is going to be Western Outlaws not really moving away from the exchange. Bellevue now spotted out in their positioning. Shmub with the full thirst on the muffins leads me to believe we're kind of at the very end of the line here for Bellevue University. After such a damn good start, it is such a shame. In the building and out through the other end, they've lost the exact position, but towards the edge zone is where they will find themselves for now. I can only pray. I thought about Grandma has had so much real estate on the edge. I don't know, it's good. And Bellevue's eliminated. I mean, slight height advantage, scan potential. I don't know. Good choke coverage.
Over there. Nice.
Alright, our winners from game one. I was questioning if we were going to make it super far, and we have the expectation of the best of best. So many grandma's houses, it's a long-term investment, right? I mean, this isn't real estate you can buy with your 2020 monthly mortgage, all right? Def did not know they died early. Tonti, you son of a bitch. Fisher Esports here works their way out of Geyser and setups against the heights of Overlook here. They've got some distance to cross to get into zone, but I don't think it's going to be that difficult for them. They've got the potential follow-through of so many of these teams here, and, oh, there you go. Cancel prediction, you had insider info. Come on, guys. Have some respect. Have some self-decency. Have some faith. St. Clair Saints will inevitably be finished off there in what I believe was the final moments out towards the west. We'll check in with KSU Gold in the heart of zone. I mean, they got to play some of this. You can hear from me slurping and slipping that Red Bull's got me jipping. Love Red Bull. Spawn for me. All right, guys. KSU Gold. I mean, I don't know why this is kind of greedy. Aegis is solo dolo peeking this. I mean, even if you don't get fully thirsted or peaked, you gotta have some respect. Right. Cheats to the edge of the wall. A couple of cheesy bits of damage there. Remember, still separated from the pack of the rest of the KSU squad. Shout out to KSU Black down below.
Contact with hostile.
Summer Blue Edition? Yeah, this is the Sea Blue edition of Red Bull. Juneberry artificially flavored. Red Bull gives you wings.
Let's reposition there.
Alright, guys. You gotta try the winter edition? I'd fuck with that. Is the can white?
I suggest we analyze those
If you give me a
grounds.
case of Red Bull, sponsor? What sponsor?
Let's rush over there.
Tell me what sponsor. Anyways, University of Utah, we asked for their recovery and response. I believe this is going to be, yeah, Selma and crew. Utah, early outs last game against USM. Now Illini Orange, potentially facing the other side of the barrel. Calgary, not much better to say themselves. One member hiding out and away. Utah on height, choking out the survey camp area. Final thirst on Selma, but shot from afar from Serial Cat. Fisher Esports on the other side from Klima. Could be the go button Fisher needs here. If you're playing for recovery over on the side, gas traps down. Never want to lose your Newcastle, but Fisher haven't decided for the full send. They're just posturing out. Sloth brought back down with health leads me to believe they're not going to be looking for much more of this. Went from 10 channel points to 80. What a fucking go. What a go.
Let's relocate.
All right. Fisher Esports here.
Let's reposition here.
Looking to break in through the other side. Dom 2 crack, no longer standing still from the disconnect and a half. Runs through the outside, point blank, and well, for Parksa and the rest of the Illini squad, there's not much more for them to say. Dom to breach through, and with that final chunk of damage, wow, Fisher kind of fucking sucked getting this last kill. If there was anybody nearby, this would be a dope third party, but instead, oh, there's somebody nearby. It's University of Utah with the steel chair. From up above, University of Utah have taken them to the slammer. A first knockdown, and they're looking for the edge. A couple of nades through the back, but Mez is a reverse chunk of damage. A peek through the other door, but a couple of chutty knocks will send Sloth a-packing. Narwhal on the outside as we retreat to the edge of the stair line. And Utah have done what they come here to do at SmackDown 2025. You had champs this year? If you guys want me to go to champs, you gotta pay money. There's no point. I don't know what the... I'm not working it. Alright. We're down to our top 10 again. Round 3 closing. We might be introducing the top 9 here sometime soon. Simplicity packed away like a present here on the early ends of Christmas. Instead, Dash with a couple full thirds. Moby is deep. Zach W. Keys almost has to look for the port, but instead finds Temple Cherry with their pants down. Maple, though, lost in the exchange, and not much longer for this world. Slasher shot in the back, and you can only imagine this might be the full rush from Utah reappearing, but instead, it's SJSU Blue back to the home they call home, I guess. Cumberland full thirsted there from, I believe, final moments from SJSU Blue, and here comes University of Utah now, forcing SJSU Black into the interior, but already inside there themselves. The port thankfully available for the recovery. Nkosu almost brought down, but they just barely get back to the cart in the nick of time. Even still, though, place to play. Dom needs to switch to Roller. Screw K2 Gold, biggest hater. That's so true. So true, Kindly Monkey. Kennesaw and Kennesaw hate, my goat. Hey, Kyle, you say Cap win, this might be the moment. For now, we'll check with the Blue Falcons, who hold a very good position on hype, but they need to win this fight. KQ Wall already brought down, says otherwise, as your biggest haters. Well, KSU Gold are on the potential primed response. Wrecked Emporium, the last remaining member. 6 power with not much more health to their name. Knock for knock and a peek up above. You gotta be absolutely stupid if you're exchanging like this. Nowhere to go. A couple exchanges back, and a snipe from Shmub from afar is actually what does them in. SJSU Blue going to extend their own favor here as Shmub continues to look, but with Viking Cat brought down, I don't know how much longer Shmub can commit to this. Nakosu also looking. KSU Gold's going to try for those resets, but SJSU is on a punishing tear. Western Outlaws, they're going to port for play here on the south side of the respawn area. Remember, Minnesota also just behind them here. I like these walls. Give them the coverage from teams rotating from the southern side. Only 2 teams who have made their way in, Minnesota and Alabama. I guess KSU Gold on their revives. We'll have to wait and see. KSU Blue in a really good spot. It really depends on how they set themselves up for height. Sheila's out from Cap here. Here we go. Choking for now. Remember, one bad climb up from the southern side on the backside of SJSU Blue, and this could be it for SJSU Blue. Only thing that gives them their definitive freedom is the fact that Western Outlaws has to deal with Alabama and Minnesota first. There's a couple of those sky nades, and what if we could beat KSU Gold a little bit later on here?
Contact with hostile.
Couple of quick scans, and we haven't checked in on them in a while. Shout out to FSU Garnet. They're the team towards the northern side of this zone. All right. The Seminoles. I should do that more often. I love the mascots, guys. The Seminoles chucking gas barrels nowhere. Balvini thought we wouldn't see it. Let's see if we can do it again. Or not. All right, Wrecked Emporium with knocks from up above against Western Outlaws. Honestly, you got to make yourself a playing proposition. Utah is still in the game here. Nowhere to go. Trained from both sides. The Outlaws forced to play with just about nothing here. Couple of nades, and that's going to finally snuff them out of the hole underneath. Oh, we're still getting shot from below. Little hollow. A knock onto Kosu against SJSU. This might be the full send here from FSU Garnet. They can send into the edge of zone. Remember, working against those walls, though, makes this hard. Even still, they're trapped in a box. In a box, in a box. Nowhere to go, only to throw. Quickly burn from the gas. Balvini and crew on my ass. Shmub and Nakosu burn away. FSU Garnet here today. Running inside and killed their ass. FSU Garnet winners at last. Woo! FSU Garnet now gonna get third party. Alright, well, KSU Gold just absolutely rips this away from them because that's how third parties work. No matter how nice of a song I come up with to give them faith, there's not much more to say. KSU Gold gonna see if they can finish off some of these final KP here. Couple quick exchanges on the interior. Triple take now that it's ground look. Gets the 99, but instead ain't the better shotgun here in the face of the response of a, well, I guess RE45, which isn't a shotgun. Garnet to be full eliminated there. Wrecked Emporium not full thirsted. KSU does give up a little bit of their space, but instead, Minnesota State Mavericks in a fight of their own as University of Utah have extended, well, actually out to defend for themselves here on the very edge of the zone. 4 squads remaining. KSU Gold, the Western Outlaws, Utah here, and Alabama getting choked out. Alabama with nowhere on high end. They're just kind of done. Couple of full thirsting and choke away. The Crimson Tide, not much better to say for themselves. Western Outlaws just as quickly burned out here. And it really is going to be potentially a KSU Gold versus Utah finish. All right. Couple of teams down below. We've got more than enough success to send Alabama packing. A huge shout out to the Western Outlaws. They've at least made it to third for now. Could potentially throw a wrench in this plan. That might be them right there. Looks for a couple of steals instead. Shot out above. No, that's... it might be them. Whatever. All right. Lock Sanity. Giving themselves away. I've told you he can be a real man. This is his chance to prove it. Fuck, he knocked Aegis. He thirsted Aegis. God damn it, Locke.
Spotted the subject.
Fucking Locke absolutely griefs, and it's KSU Gold. University of Utah should win this nonetheless here now. There you go. Respawn coming through from Aegis. Western Outlaws maybe to cover the cross. He wants Utah to get into this engagement. You can hear the shots exchange. Utah up on high here. With the respawn coming through and nowhere to go. KSU Gold are like fish in a barrel if we were shooting guns in a barrel. That's highly ineffective. Won't soak as well in water. Either way, KSU Gold eliminated. And Locke, with a turn of his own faith, has guaranteed himself second place. And congratulations, though, for the turnaround here with one final quick pump and a half on the interior of truck. It's going to be the University of Utah dub. Hey, Atmosai, thank you for the Prime subscription. Congratulations on the 5-month sub. Thank you very much. Easy dub. Man, Lock Sanity. That is the story of this one. Fucking rats it out. Gets the job done. Where's Aegis? Can we get an Aegis check? That guy's pissed right now. We won. Congratulations, Over. I mean, you guys just played out. It just perfect. You literally let the lobby collapse in on itself. That is a question, though, now for the University of Utah. They do get those wipes on the KSU Gold and, Lock there. How much more KP did they get from Grandma? Let's take a look. Game 2 on the board. It's still a 15 KP. I should snuff myself. It's not as big as the previous dub from Bellevue, but in the end, it's going to keep them competitive. 4 for Mez, 5 for Narwhal Boy, and a 6 for Mobius. Absolutely a cluster and a half. Congratulations. Of course, first thing we always do, predictions on the board. I asked y'all over under Bellevue 8.5 KP. 91% of you said, oopsie. Here we go. Congratulations to the 9% of you on the under. Hey, be nice to Bulldog Kush Group T. All right. All right. We've got Bellevue University and a couple of other squads. Wizard and crew, thank you so much for the points. Let's take a look at the rest here. 27 points for the University of Utah. 18 for KSU Gold, who don't make it all the way to second. And instead, we get Western Outlaws 13. Oh, shit. 400K for a little bit of oil. I fucking forgot about that. Ah, shit. We're 25,000 away from oiling up a little bit. This is not. You get one game. You get one game. I'll only oil up for one game, boy. All right. Execute addicted, increase cooperative constituency, non-remittable, translate, tower button arrangement, stub tissue album, contempt reform, comprehensive innovation, oppose we carbon combination, incredible scrambled roll, overall print, underline fee, absorb burial gas, ally chart, lend wrap, baseball, fat dimension, coolity remains, cinnamon dish, coalition bond, mother, composer, buffet, possession, container, disorder. What the fuck? Hey, give myself a little bit of credit there. That was a solid read. Once again, Atmosai, thank you so much for the resubscription there. Big ups. 5 months is no small feat. Western Outlaws, they're the biggest story, though, of this game when we talk about a point turnaround here. 13 points, making their all the way to second. That 1 KP from Lock Sanity, well, it's the only one that really counted there. Sending Aegis down in that final moment was the difference maker to give them the extra chunk of 2, and then, yeah, the KP there for the 3 pieces there that would get them from 10 points to 13. And remember, every point counts when you're racing towards 60 here. A congratulations to the Western Outlaws. Lock, Goblin on top, and Payne, 4 KP with 13. That's going to be putting them at least a bit competitive. The biggest losses in this one, again, real strugglers for Southern Miss. We saw them full-thirsted by Bellevue, and then Bellevue, for committing to that exchange, also wiped out there. Still, some early losses for teams like Ottawa Braves and Calgary, who are still playing as a duo. Fisher have not been able to get the Jets cooking today. As aggressive as they are, these lobbies are different. When you've got so many excellent teams playing against each other, you can't quite go shit stomping. Well, we'll hope they'll call a plumber a little bit later on to clear up things. Can we see Storm Point drops? Of course we can. Now, wait, the overall first. Bellevue with the lead, KSU Gold tied, Utah, Western Outlaws, Southern Miss. Not really too much to say there. Still 1 game away from really turning it around. Really, let's look towards Utah, KSU Gold, and Bellevue. So, Storm Point on the board. Bellevue will be in Ferrari. I worry for Utah Valley Black. All right? Of course, for the likes of KSU Gold, they'll be working all the way from Echo HD. Kind of a different expectation. Usually they are a team that likes to play from Cito Station, but that's going to be given away to KSU Black today. I'm curious if that was... Yes, it looks like KSU Black took it first, which, who knows? There could have just been a shared agreement. And then University of Utah out in Barometer. A couple other big notables, of course, you got Illini and Southern Miss here in Lightning Rod for that early height advantage to work with. And really not much else to say. Cascades held by FSU Garnet. You know. Mountain Lift for Ottawa Braves is tough shit, man. But I could totally see them going for the FSU Garnet rotate or maybe even up to Command Center if they want to get themselves better situated. No one's playing for Devastated Coast. No one. This is the Fisher effect, by the way. No one wants to be against Fisher in the early game because they're going to take a 3v3. And as a result, it has really punished them. No one in Mod and no one in Dome really actually slowed them down from getting a kind of extra momentum there. Albeit, I will say this. If Dom 2 crashed doesn't actually make doesn't disconnect from that game on World's Edge, we probably see a little bit more of a competitive point scoring from Fisher. I know you guys hate me giving them credit where it's due sometimes, but, you know, end of the day, you know, if he doesn't crash there, that's going to be a better conversion. Mills for Calgary, you know, Cenote for Cumberland University, kind of a very stronger southern eastern side, especially with maybe Blue Falcons there over towards Coastal Camp. Really not much to say. Checkpoint, Down Beast, Cascades, this kind of a weaker section, UVU, Minnesota State Mavericks. Bellevue could have their pickings if they rotate efficiently, right? I'm not really dissing most of these teams. It's just the truth. Albeit, we saw how their aggression was punished last time, and they are all but more susceptible to a third party than anyone else. One last check on our overall before we get into game. Remember, the prediction I asked y'all last time was over under 8.5 KP. Utah won. They had 15. Previously, they had 0. We're going to do a little bit shorter because I start a little bit late. Over under 5.5 KP. Utah over under. You guys got 2 minutes to do this one because we're going to be starting a little bit quicker here. Get your bets in. Over under 5.5 KP for the University of Utah. Gamba away. Throw that slingers out there. And, of course, then convert it to the points you see down below. 75% raised. We're at 377 towards our tournament. What was game one? Game one was a Bellevue dub over in Skyhook. If Utah doesn't win today, I'll wear a maid outfit on stream tomorrow, soloing the tourney. Sounds good, Group T. Why do you have a maid outfit? All right. Overall, KSU, Utah, a lot of catch-up potential here for a lot of teams. Western Outlaws, Southern Miss, KSU Black, Cumberland Illini. I mean, it really doesn't matter. We're still chasing things, but plenty of time to go and a couple of random chats on the board. Let's jump back into game. 20 squads left with 55 remaining already right off the board, and we've lost out on a few. Southeastern now competing for space here on the coastline. A couple of early chunks of damage exchanged here on the edge, and we'll see how they end up. Tick for tick, wall for wall, burn for burn. Vortex moves half an inch with the phase, maybe play back into it instead. Run point blank, lost aimer, gets knocked down there. For some reason, we opt to try to play the mobile shield. Let's see if they can heal this one up. FPS Aether, though, not super healthy. Gonna be trying to see if he can stick the med kit. Same to be said for Vortex. It's gonna be particularly close. No. He has the lower health advantage. Get that full thirst. Oh, he should have gone for the full thirst, so he had the advantage on the shield. Well, point blank. We're gonna try to full thirst that shield there. Get rid of Avery entirely. All right, full commit around the edge of the shield. Knockdown be damned. A couple of punches there to burn this away. It's a sentinel play, but instead, he still finds the shot. What are we doing? How do we fuck that up?
We should inspect that area.
Southeastern, bro. What are we doing, bro?
Enemy spotted.
Danger close.
Bro,
We should
hip
probe
fired a
that sector
Senti.
over there.
Did they deadass just get 2v3'd? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Southeastern, your first team eliminated here on Storm Point. We tune into height as we take a look at that zone. It is going to be prioritizing one of our favorite sections of the north. FSU Garnet inevitably finished off here from what could have been a bad start in Cascades that we missed out on. Meanwhile, Bellevue University already towards the heart of zone looking for space. But remember, Rampart still very much in this lobby. Our first two bans, as I'll check with them again, were the Altar and Valkyrie. The Altar definitely punishing a lot of the safety teams like to play around, but the setup with the Rampart and the Caustic still very much a thing right now. Keep an eye on those legend bands, because this is match point. Depending if Bellevue doesn't win it in 4, we've still got some time, and that could be very influential. Illini Orange, we saw them finish off, I believe, that final member of FSU. Could have rotated quite a bit quicker here. Even still, this is a really nice play to play for height, and Illini Orange have to prove they've got the capacity to defend it. So many teams are going to want to work their way out from this height. One of them being the likes of USM. Dallas with the port play down below. They'll look for that initial sky nade up above. A couple of initial shots. Don't get away from this. Why are we getting away from this?
Enemy in the distance.
All right.
I'm going there.
I'll control the stream.
You would be wise to follow.
Well,
Listen, let's move back.
Cumberland University will tune with them because they've got initial knocks against Mobius. The rest of the Utah squad chunked out in the corner. And god damn, how are we already lost on Utah already? We got the curse of first place going on this tournament. Bellevue, destroyed immediately after. Utah, destroyed immediately after. Illini Orange, they have to try to make their way down from height after getting pushed away here. And are already losing out on multiple members. Not much to say for the betterment of Ottawa themselves. Up on high, Southern Miss are more than happy to keep committing for this cross. Dallas sliding down here. You have to be a little bit careful. Teams can follow through here, but looking at the eastern side, they're very lucky. There's nobody that could punish this, even if they get hyper-aggressive here. Utah Valley Black holding the edge of zone here against Calgary. Might still be a duo. Didn't get to check that one out. Western Outlaws, Bellevue, and the rest of these teams fighting for their contest in wall. Bellevue inevitably had to force himself back towards this secondary building. Not much better to say for Voddery himself here. Kind of struggling out. Still, nade for nade. Still finds a little bit of damage, but it's mostly the ball. Wall and barrel. When you've got a caustic and you've got a rampart set up on every single team practically, you're not contesting for building. Unless you make a incredible play. Who's walking straight into gas, Sheila, Knox gas grenade? Like, it's just not happening. Now, Bellevue does inevitably get a stinger bolt down on to the likes of KSU Black here, which could be the intro they need. But remember, it is a struggle. Feeling an FSU Garnet win here, I'd be impressed. All right. Point blank, up on high. Wall for wall, covering the low ground. The St. Clair Saints. I'll be honest with you, I don't expect much to come of this. Meanwhile, Illini Orange inevitably sent here by Southern Miss. They do have a rotation from Temple Cherry coming out of Zeus Station there that they will have to defend. But if Southern Miss beats this exchange, or if they lose it, I mean, Temple Cherry or Southern Miss are in the prime position to win this game. Shout out to Minnesota State Mavericks, by the way, once again converting to another semi-high placement game. Should keep them slightly competitive. Cumberland?
Making contact with enemy.
Making it rhyme. Other worms that I'm on their way in. A couple of skims. A snipe and a rim job from on the side. All right. Well, drone's coming through and the EMP to follow suit. Maybe just a little information.
Enemy over there.
All right. A couple of nade for nade action as we're going to look for that port play in. Blue Falcons a little bit low here as that drone is a bone. Pyro up on the height to maybe defend against what might be this further assault, but I can imagine Cumberland have already made the cross. Hopefully they get the exchange, but instead, shot out from the side of Command Center. Holy shit. Slasher inevitably will get that knock, but the majority of that damage is provided from that alternative angle from Command. I'm pretty sure we're going to get maybe the Command push here. Slasher just as quickly punished back and instead barely gets out of double spare ultimate, but is still dropped from below. It's none other than Fisher Esports. You send them the bait, they will arrive. Here we go. Down below, a Maggie ball. I can't imagine Maple's going to commit for the revive, but we'll see. Point blank behind the knockdown. Sloth makes it look easy. Quick beam on the heady, and Fisher Esports are now down to just the final remaining member of Cumberland.
This way.
Oh, Fisher does a great job third-partying that exchange. Quick early spell, and Cumberland and the Blue Falcons forced to run to the exterior of zone. Money sign Lothula. Is it money sign Lothulas, or is it
Target spotted.
money sign Sloth? Put the extra S on that shit. I mean, I do know. I'm just making a joke. My jokes aren't very funny. All right. Bellevue University here, still in the heart of zone. We saw them exchange quite a brutal attack against KSU, but instead now got at least the Alabama squad who has mirrored from behind there. Blue Falcons finally into the edge of zone. Be playing a song. You're so funny. Go bald. I'll tell you what, man. I'm fucking trying. I'm trying. All right. Couple exchanges up on height against the St. Clair Saints here. We'll see. You're so funny, Zephyr. Go bald.
Hostile spotted.
Just a little meth to not go bald. In what world does meth come in a pill form? Yeah, let me take my meth today. Oh yeah, let me take my meth. Very funny. My world. We live in a weird world. In a world where Walter White is a pharmacist, and he's got the Fermin ketamine. Hey! Alabama eventually found out. Now we're going to get in there, deep like your sister. Here they come. Bama with the slide, Bama on the ride, Bama downtown to send for the lounge. There's gonna be an escape away, a port play, but Vattery follows suit. That's the rap. Crimson Tide eliminated. You're not taking the net before every open match here. Are you really playing open? Thank God I don't play open. Southern Miss still defending on high here as we see that at least evac represent a follow-through that will keep them confident on their coverage from height here. Now, they are going to lose out on this height ever so slowly, but still, playing from the high side of this zone is so much more advantageous. Problem is, you do have the Ottawa Braves out ahead of you, and now KSU going down below. Utah Valley Black going to work their way up against the hillside. That Maggie ball is doing its best to climb up on high. In the end, it's just an extra dose of speed that puts Schmiggles on the losing end of this battle. Quick break on the edge of that shield, but it forces a revive. Instead, now the choke getting the shots on the back for Incroc here. Tries to place the pylon down for a bit of coverage. The St. Clair Saints Green have been gifted a bit of extra additional safety. Not just their height, but also the pressure from down below. Lucky with no help for food here as there comes the Seer ultimate response for extra information. Meanwhile, the St. Clair Saints just trying to thrive as the zone is chunking. Schmiggles with a knock from the exchange over the edge, but Incroc brought down. Meanwhile, Bellevue, a massive explosion. KSU Gold, the lobby catalyzes here. The Blue Falcons are inevitably eliminated. Here comes Fisher to clean things up. Up on high, Fisher turned the tides. A quick exchange, but back in the face of a Rampart shield will leave Dom to crack down. Instead, forced to utilize the Sparrow almost immediately. Beams and shreds on the edge of zone, but the full thirst onto Dom comes through nonetheless. Burn for burn. Fisher are popped away. And it's St. Clair Saints from above who have defended against it all. They say fuck Fisher. They say fuck Blue Falcons. Fuck the world. The St. Clair Saints have defended. Who knew a Rampart wall could be oh so strong? I told you, control for control. That shit is difficult. Here we go. Cumberland University, they're going to try to do what their predecessors could not. Lucky with a knock onto Slasher. And the OG Collegiate players are taking these shitbags and saying, get the fuck out of our homeland. Maples down. Cumberland now clowning and running. We'll say goodbye to Minnesota in the kill feed. One final port play there, and for Cumberland, not much more to say. Just Zach W. Keys left to potentially rat, and for St. Clair Saints, this was the dopest defense we have seen from the St. Clair roster all season long. This is as good as it gets. This is the height of heights. Anyways, Bellevue University, quick elimination against Southern Misses. They'll take away height. Long-range snipes there. Well, actually, no, it's the final Motherland. All right. Point blank, long range again. Vattery trying to exchange for coverage here. They need to extend at least a little bit of safety back onto Muffins. Port for port. Remember, they don't quite have height above them. KSU Gold, Ottawa. A lot of these teams are much better positioned, but instead they'll slide down to the wall here. Nice on the beams as they go for the reams. Slide down into the memes, and now, I mean, you just got some early cleanup there on Western Outlaws. A couple of ports out from the edge of walls. That will no longer be the place of POI perfection here. SJSU Blue and Cumberland looking for a response of their own, but after that revive, Cumberland will inevitably be choked out here. St. Clair Saints hugging on for dear life, and hopefully those walls are made of absolute diamond because they've got everybody against them rushing out into the fray here. They'll launch into Bellevue and send battery packing. This could be the difference maker. St. Clair will be wiped out, and now with KSU up above and RJ from a 5, this is going to be the end just as quickly as the Bellevue roster. A zone like this is oh so punishing. With Bellevue on the low ground eliminated, KSU are just as quickly third-partied here from up on high. Ottawa has a height and a half. Meanwhile, Calgary, as a duo, take away this spot from Minnesota State Mavericks and now get the full thirst onto Aegis. I don't know if Calgary's going to win the 2v3 here against Ottawa, especially with Lost Aimer making such an exchange and a half. But all we can do is wait and see. Remember, we could have a lock sanity moment here. You could have a little KSU gold influenciation. It is misplays. The man, the myth, the legend, the drinker, the chuddy, the hubby. We'll see how he does. Looks like Ottawa are just going to play this smart. 3 squads remaining, and they don't have to be stupid. They have height to their advantage. They can wait for the KSU gold early rotate, which is potentially now in a situation where they're going to get all 3 members back alive here. This still ain't great, though, guys. Even if you get all 3 members back on respawn, you still have Calgary watching you on the side. And yes, the Ottawa Braves, who will be extending for coverage here. All right, here it comes. Cloaked, Logan, RJ up on high. This is the recovery that we've been waiting for Ottawa. I told you from the get-go, you play from height this game, you're going to win it. KSU are back into it, and just as quickly as they arrive, they find a revenge knock onto FPS Aether. Lost Aimer just as quickly knocked from misplays, and it is a 3v3 situation with RJ finding initial knocks down here onto misplays. Full thirst, and it's a 2v3. Yeah, it's basically dire straits here. You're looking for a miracle and a half. Ottawa just looking for those final full peaks up above. Extend the bubble and the bang. Knocks onto Aegis and was wrecked with nowhere to go. A final thirst sends Ottawa onto their first dub of the day. A little bit of an anticlimactic cleanup, but I told you, you win the height, you win that zone. I mean, everyone knows that. Everyone knows that except for Chuddies. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. We'll start off with the prediction I asked y'all before that game. Over, under 5.5 KP Utah. Well, coming out of Game 3, can't say we were led with much from the Utah squad. Eliminated early with 0. Congratulations to the under. This time around, we have the Ottawa Braves with a 10, previously a 2, and then a 5. So we're going to hit it right in the middle, another 5.5. Start that prediction early so you guys can't cheat. Ottawa Braves, over, under 5.5 KP. There you guys go. Over, under. We got another match, Storm Point. You guys got 2 minutes to get that in. Over, under. Did Utah bet in that prediction? Did they throw for channel points? Of course. Of course, Matt Stanky. Of course. All right, 2 minutes to go. Get your bets in. Thank you, Matt, for the points contributed. Over, under 5.5. A little bit of gamble. A little bit of money on the line. I buy Utah type of throw. Very nice. I like that. Might go I buy power. Still making waves. Red Bull tastes so damn good. The Ottawa Braves do win that game inevitably with 22. It's not as explosive as a dub there. Bellevue ultimately being more of a gatekeeper towards that southern side of zone than the rest of these teams. In the end, a high hearty 7 for the KSU Gold, Calgary, SCC, and Cumberland squad as they both walk away respectively alongside their KP and, well, their placement. Of course, SJSU Blue, Southern Miss and Fisher round out the majority of that KP, but don't really launch closer to the 60. What if instead of Ottawa, it was Ottawa, and the whole team was Otters playing Apex? Thank you, Donut. As a result of your participant and passion, I will put a picture of an otter on the screen. Look, it's yawning. How cute. There you go. All right. Ottawa Braves with 22 points. This is going to be a big return for them. But remember, the first 2 games were quite shitty. In the end, we are going to be losing out on the Wraith. So another rotational legend no longer available. Remember, you still have things like the Pathfinder up on the board here if you really want direct influence. Things like the Ash for the quick port play. thing is, this is really just going to start to develop more dominance in terms of control when we talk about setup and point defense, right? So things like the Newcastle, things like the Rampart, these are all the epitome, and the fucking Caustic and the Watson, and Jesus Christ, no controller legends? Yeah, I mean, if you've got a building, it's going to be a hard place. I mean, we saw that from SCC, an insane recovery playing around the Rampart. So does a team only have to get 60 points to win? No. So match point format, if you're not someone who's you have to get to 60 points, and then you have to win a game afterwards. So 60 points is quite high. Usually match point is at 50. 60 will extend this just a bit longer, and then, of course, the dub is... No matter what, even if you're a Bellevue, a dub following it can be difficult. The overall points, though, currently put Bellevue at 50, so they are at least un game away here from being on match point format. Granted, they can have donuts. We just walked away from a game 2 where they had only 3 points here, so it's not impossible. Damn, so if you win before, it doesn't matter if you're below 60. It does not guarantee you a win. But hey, look at our winners. University of Utah, Ottawa Braves, they're that much closer. KSU Gold is 12 points away from their own match point setup, and you have to fear this roster. They've yet to win today, and I'll tell you what, never count out misplays. This is a man who's got his due. Wrecked Emporium is also on fucking fire right now. 6K, and he is looking like a Jukesy or a Vattery. Holy shit, get that man a pro contract. Ottawa Braves here, 30. Utah, 28. Cumberland, 23. UFC X's 20. Remember, single dubs, as we saw from the likes of Ottawa, took them from, 11th all the way to 3rd. So single dubs are still so influential right now. The same can be said for Calgary, who makes one of their best games yet at 14 as a duo. And SCC, they themselves with another jump with 11 points that game. So highly competitive. Fisher, still really struggling here, and a couple of really sad performances from the lower end of the bracket. The biggest surprise is going to be Fisher, KSU Black here. All right, guys, we are going to be getting Storm Point one more time. Remember, Valkyrie, Alter, Wraith, Ban. You still have the Ash, you still have the Pathfinder, you still have defensible safety with coverage on things like the Bangalore to make your rotates, but in the end, it is getting harder to move to your position. Prioritize things like your evacs or just early rotating, as we'll see maybe some teams take advantage of some zone play. In the end, point defense has gotten so strong now, but hey, still can be taken advantage of, as we've seen from time and time again. Let's jump into our Game 2 on Storm Point, Game 4 overall. After this, we will be on our way to E-District. And remember, final point standing there for our predictions. Ottawa Braves over under 5.5 KP as we check in with our winners from last game. Y'all are taking the under. Y'all have learned your lesson. It seems like we have the curse of first place on our games here today. If we follow suit, Ottawa should be early out here if that's the case. They got SJSU, KSU Black to their left, and maybe some early action ahead of them here shortly as they go for that push into Jurassic.
Attention.
Only
Evo
need to get
harvesters
2
are
KP. Under?
online.
Yeah, 61% on the 5.5K under. If you want to know who, we can totally out them. The under was clocked in by Cling 2 Locked, Wizard, Pabizi, and Weatherboy Super. The over taken by Taunty, Interceder, Matt Stanky, Donut, and Coco. I have that power. Blue Falcons point blank with a nice evac. Would have loved to see them time that one out for a little bit of better success, but in the end, not much more to say. Meanwhile, Cloak does inevitably find that first knock on the SJSU and a final through with Viking Cap. It leaves just Shmub on the setup there. Meanwhile, Blue Falcons with a chase of their own underway on height. A couple of long-range knocks as Dom2 Cracked finds Aegis. Meanwhile, oh my god, wait, that's, okay, so KSU Gold is the team that Blue Falcons are chasing, and KSU Gold got beamed from afar from Fisher coming from Launchpad here. So in the end, it's kind of a pressured situation. It does look like KSU Gold are going to be able to sneak this one out. Well, Dom2 Cracked with a couple of early wipes there. Calgary with some more themselves, and the lobby is once again imploding on itself. We got Calgary versus SEC again over towards the monster. Nope. Blue Falcons for the rotate out towards edge will find that last remaining Wrecked Emporium rotate. A Rolling Thunder exchanges a smoke, like I said, will give you cover where you need it. Meanwhile, Bellevue in the kill feed wiping out the likes of UVU as, well, you're not going to make it much further, but instead Pyro walks into waiting open bullets. KQ all almost brought down there from the back half rotate as, once again, Calgary's lost aimer beats the entirety of Southeastern. Someone check up on those boys. They just got double deuced by the duo. Holy shit. Someone check up on those boys. I would have loved to have seen it, but Calgary just got fucking... holy shit. Alright. Well, point blank with nowhere to go. Nitfen is running straight into the bullets like a goddamn lead magnet here. Albeit, I'm not quite sure what the Nemesis shoots. It shoots energy, so maybe they're a magnetic field. Either way, Fisher Esports has come through with that realistic third party that we've been waiting for. Of course, the full thirst is going to be underway, but we know there's been a separation from KC Gold already, so can't imagine there will be much punishment on the board here. Wrecked inevitably full thirsted out. One quick zip and away. Beams out the lights of slots, but a quick peek over towards the edge. Once again, here is Utah. Mobius for the exchange, and a quick bomb and a blast as they'll get burned from the nade. Utah is just as quickly picked apart, even though they thought it was the third party. Looks like the Kez was just as good. Utah, done and dusted, as we'll be taking a look towards Cascades here. This is a heavy zone for teams to set themselves up in. I prioritize teams playing from the position of self-miss right now. Working your way from that height can be very, very good, especially when it comes to decision making. So in the end, competitive, but not a guaranteed dub, especially when you got Temple Cherry in Alabama up to your north. Spider. Temple Cherry going to be choked out by the Fuse ultimate there from Southern Miss for now. Couple Sparrow ultimates to delay here as, meanwhile, Cumberland getting their revenge against St. Clair Saints in the kill feed. Zach W. Keys with triple knocks against the squad, and they're making up for their loss last time around in the cave here. 16 squads remaining, and the quality yet remains a bit subpar.
Let's smash him.
KC Gold inevitably going to get themselves reset out towards the pylon as the majority of our teams now giving themselves a happy home here in Cascades. Prices have dived, markets have crashed, and the real estate, as we take a look here in Cascades, is looking superb for appreciation. SJSU Blue, albeit I would say a little late to the gold rush of the housing market here. Got to take their time, albeit also very separate. Alabama trying to race up to height, getting sniped from afar. Illini Orange is all the way towards the other side of this one, coming out of cave, and they do get that full thirst on the right's way. I don't know if they're going to get the rest of the Alabama squad, but hey, ain't nothing ever hurt mama. I'm going to take off this bracelet because it's...
We should go over there.
Oh. Don't tell
Let's go here.
my research. Alright. Bellevue University, sadly, looking for the poverty KP. Honestly, I think Bellevue should get punished for finding Calgary right here. That's so mean. They're a duo, guys. Don't hurt the duo. The duo's chill as fuck. The duo just beat Southeastern, you know, and why you gotta follow them up? Whatever. SJSU Blue trade for trade against Minnesota here. A 2v2 situation, drill for drill, and I can only imagine, especially since we saw so many teams on the prowl here, that you have to be so utterly careful. Fisher with another chunk of KP as they find double spots for the first time ever. Meanwhile, full wipes onto Schmalz, and the Minnesota roster has yet to find success. Climb for climb, no look for that final remaining member of Speed Demon up on the stairwell, but choked out from the other side and a burn and a half. One quick peek on the window will be all that Speed Demon needs. A singular bullet will send Minnesota away all the way in 14th. It just ain't a Minnesota day. Holding out in zone has been so difficult for so many of these squads, especially Minnesota, who is such a zone-oriented roster. Southeastern now looking for that follow through on SJSU. Doesn't find the knock they need. Able to put themselves back up on height, and maybe they'll be able to share just a bit better space as KSU Black presents in that southern building respectively. Here's the thing, the minute that we've got a little bit of a sniffy sniff from one of these squads on this duo, I can't say SJSU Blue are going to be much better, so instead they opt to rotate. Out and away they go. No oriented roster. Hey, small guy. No matter what you said,
Positioned here.
the same termination that leaves the Godspot into team. No matter what you say, bro, Minnesota, even if they don't make the best decisions in Godspot, rotate to Godspot. That's a lot better than half of these teams that sit literally on edge round 3 fighting a 3v3. I know the bar is low here in Collegiate. That's zone play. All right? I didn't say Schma, if I didn't say they were a good zone team, and if you only knew what I knew. Kamichi got subbed? Yeah, also, yeah, Trent's not even.
Enemy close.
Alright. KSU Black set himself up as meanwhile Southern Miss getting punished from SJSU on the outskirts there. KSU Gold might look for this. Wonder if we're going to get a full thirst on Dallas at all. This is Mank back to their house, and yeah, there comes that final bit of a burn there from what might have been KSU. A couple zips out the way. I mean, this isn't incredibly confident. That's it for Mank just as quickly. SJSU gets the recovery, are quickly back. Yeah, Small, you're like one of them Twitter girls who says, I have a lot of problems, but I don't want to talk, okay? We're telling if it was you, small guy. No, we're telling everybody. You're on the Zephyr stream now. If you're going to talk shit in my chat about anyone in Collegiate, you got to own up to that shit, because I'll tell you right now, you're about to be playing in playoffs, bud. All right? I want to hear that shit. What Twitter girls do you get on your feed, Zephyr? Not many. I honestly hate my Twitter feed. We can scroll through it if you want, because there ain't much on it.
Targeting that spot.
It is just absolute brain rot. Remember, this is the guy who got banned from TikTok for the game. TikTok thinks I'm a child because I watch so much brain rot. I deleted TikTok, though, by the way. I dog walk everyone in this lobby. You maybe do. KSU Gold inevitably eliminated by the likes of Cumberland in the meanwhile. Full final thirst onto Alabama from Bellevue up on high. And we're talking about could be the Bellevue game. Remember, they only needed about 10 points to get on match point here, so with a chunk of KP that they've already presented for themselves, Bellevue really only need about 3 or 4 extra KP to put themselves on match point going into E-District here. Alright. Line Eye Orange up on height. Could be the next target of ire here for Bellevue. Southern Miss going to be trying to play for maybe reset or rat as Bellevue are making their way up to height. Here we go. Point blank up above, and they've got the beams to extend here. I'll say this. I don't think if Bellevue gets this full wipe and then gets third party, they're on match points. So we have to be super careful here. Albeit 10-2. No, yeah, if they don't get this full wipe. Alright, so Juxie with the first knock. We have to make sure Bellevue survives this to get their way forward. Get some 7TV emotes in here. Oh yeah, for my subs. We are halfway through the process of getting those emotes out. I have 13 emotes online and coming, and hopefully they'll make it here before playoffs. Probably. Maybe for finals. Bellevue University still chasing for Chase. They look like a 20-year-old on spring break, out for tail here. Important point-blank positioning. That's going to be a beautiful line drive from Zumo as the Ottawa Braves are eliminated. The curse of first place once again represents here as a white Fisher. By the way, Fisher up to 8 KP plus now, by the way, in this lobby. Bellevue inevitably forcing Illini Orange back out into Command Center, where they might be running into Cumberland sometime soon. Look at that northern height of zone here. So good, as we're actually going to be making our way much further down towards the mountain lift side. So those who presented in Cascades, not quite as good. Yo, Zumo got that Mavware. I'll be honest with you, Wizard. It wasn't that good of a beam. Yeah, trust me. He didn't look like Mav that much to me. I mean, it was a good rip, but if a target can't be placed literally, if it's like, the Ash Portal is literally telling someone, hey bud, shoot here. And if you can't shoot there and get a beam, you might as well get checked. And you know for what. All right, Cumberland University, once again, like I said, going to be holding out some of these late rotating squads. Illini Orange pressured there by Bellevue University. Both teams have made their way down. 40% intensity method, he knows ball. I don't know what the hell that is.
I'm going here, come on.
To be fair, it was nice tracking because of the average Octane player. Dude, we're in the top 20 right now. They can't be that bad, all right? Top 20 teams in all of Octane. You at least know how to shoot a gun. And you're not like definitive pro level, but like you're gonna shoot a gun. Have you seen some of these plays? In fairness, Wizard, I've seen Southeastern, so you're not far off. Sorry, Southeastern. You got ripped by a duo. You're going to get shit on. All right, point blank burns onto Cumberland. The Bellevue squad has to win this fight, but a Stinger Bolt survives. If Bellevue University, they don't get on match point, already a rip and a half, and Cumberland are still full health here. A ticking away, and Bellevue know just as much that they need this. Battery wiped out, and a beam up above leaves just Jukesy to escape back over towards Cascades. I don't think Bellevue have enough points here. If Jukesy gets spotted out early, like if SJSU Blue get the line drive on him, or Southern finish this off with a quick rotate, Bellevue needs one more game. What lobby are you watching tomorrow? I don't know. Hey, Truthfully! Thank you for following. Western Outlaws here now. Point blank, KSU Black up above as we start to really introduce this mountain slide area. And you guys fucking hate Bottery. So much fucking fraudery in chat. He's not a fraud. Temple Cherry versus FSU Garnet here. 1v1 scenarios. It's left up to Balvini guy, which isn't much to say when you're running into the main man, Dash himself. Looks like they've got themselves at least a building to the low, but Cumberland University may be looking for the snow of the dough. Cross with the zip line down below. How many other O's can I rhyme my toe? A couple quick chases, and it looks like Dash has been choked out towards the edge of the river there. Nice follow through, and in the end, this is the nice thing for Bellevue right now. Albeit they're not successful in this game directly, all they have to do is survive the intake. If they can survive a bit longer here, I think they get it based off of placement alone. Couple of extensions as Cumberland University finally getting a nice ream there. The drill from the Maggie going absolutely insane. They've got so much information from that early wipe. Can't say there's going to be much more success here over towards the edge of KSU Black. You get the full, at least, send from Zach W. Keys. Extending behind the knockdown shield. There's some of those full thirsts coming through. One final remaining member. Peak up on height. And woo! The car is a shredder. Coming for Cumberland. 7 squads remaining. Western Outlaws. We haven't checked in with them. Shout out to Lock Sanity for the goated plays in game 2. Meanwhile now, shot from behind, and Lock Sanity, well, lives up into potential of nothing. Bellevue University taking their time, ratting this one out. It's a beautiful KP, a piece for Jukesy, and a push into the top 5. I'm pretty sure that's enough, guys, because they needed 10 points to get to match point. They've got 4 points from their qualification here, so they need 6 KP. It's gonna be tight. SJSU Blue leading, and now they're up to 5 placement. SJSU eliminate. Now they're up to 7. They made it. Bellevue have made it to match point. We got Fisher versus Cumberland, a single member of Bellevue and Jukesy. Can't say it might even be much more than that. Point blank with nowhere to go here. Cumberland are going to try to gatekeep things out. You got Zach W. Keys on height, and Bellevue will be pushed to their end in 3rd. But hey, that rat from Jukesy was critical for getting to match point here. Now, a final true arenas 3v3 here in the Mountain Lift area. Sparrow ultimates down. Fisher's looking for space, but a pylon will deny. Point blank and Zero Cat forced lower, but Sloth with the knock on a Maple leads to the fight. Cumberland had been so good, but Fisher Esports are just as quick to find success. It's just Zach W. Keys, and for the first time today, Fisher truly look alive. It's a knock in response, but a thirst in a duo won't make this easy. With nowhere to go, Fisher pull up the dub. Hey Evercast, it's been a minute. How's the melanoma treatment been going? Your hair seems to be bouncing back nicely. That's so fucking funny. We already... You're late, Payback. We already made like 3 bald jokes. Yeah, Holy Cumberland Cell. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think Cumberland was gonna pull out with a dub any day of the week there. They're kind of shitty compared to fucking Fisher. You're so funny, please don't go bald. Stop saying that shit. I'm gonna go bald. All right, game 4. Let's check in with the prediction first because we got to get it out there. Ottawa Braves over under 5.5 KP. The curse lives on. Ottawa Braves with only 2 KP. Congratulations to the under. So far, the under has been so representative today. Fisher Esports with 15 KP tie for a 27 with Utah in game 2. Let's look at our prediction, what it will be for 2. And then 15. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm going to put it slightly high. I know what they're capable of. Fisher over under 7.5 KP. I know they haven't done it today, but I can feel the mojo. All right? Fisher over under 7.5 KP. All right. Slam the under. Slam the melanoma. Dude, the melanoma doesn't exist. Well, everything's fine. Everything is fine in Zephyrcast. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. All right. Eris says we'll play Game 6 even if Bellevue wins just without them. That's not true. Tell Eris they're wrong. All right. So Fisher Esports with 27. Cumberland with 26. We asked Bellevue, can they get to 10 points? They get 16 that game. They had 9 KP. So we were misjudging a hell and a half back to get there. They didn't even have to survive all the way to the third. Bellevue could have survived roughly to 10th or 9th. Eris, my goat, she can't be wrong. I'll be honest with you, but what if it's what OY said? OY said. All right. Unless OY changes his mind. All right. SJ's 11. Let's look at the overall. 66 points for Bellevue University. They're officially match point eligible. What does that mean? That means if Bellevue walks away with the dub coming into this next game here, they are the winners. They will finish with first place seeding going into semifinals, and the standings are as they stand. Now, this is a game 5, and OY did say we end on a dub with Matchpoint. Could be wrong. Ultimately, that's what OI said. If Eris is saying something different, we'll just have to wait and see. I don't have complete confirmation, but OI said we end. Either way, KSU Gold is at 52. This is a sad suffering for them. They're going to need 8 points there. Cumberland needs 11, and then a giant leap for teams like Fisher who need 22 to catch up here. Not impossible, but like, look at this. 27 for Fisher. You still need a big dub. It's a big turnaround for them. SJSU Blue makes a jump themselves, but the rest of the lobby are still in catch-up mode. Now we need to out-survive Bellevue University. Remember, with the legends switching oh so constantly, that is a tough task to do. Even if you know who they are, that's a tough task to do. We'll say goodbye to Rampart. Remember, a lot of expedient exchanges still available. And now point defense is going to get a little bit tougher for these teams who have been relying. Has OI confirmed it's no minimum games? That's what I'm trying to figure out. If OI is here, please confirm, because Eris says we're going to game 6 if Bellevue wins. Either way, thank you, too. I appreciate that. Stats on the board. We got one more to go. Or we got probably more than this. We'll see how it goes. Bellevue University are going to be the ire of everyone. The drops are what is so important now. Bellevue will be starting out here towards E-Bank. Shit, man. Talk about a place of safety. No one can really send into E-Bank confidently. You have so much leeway to get out here. Now, granted, it is fairly open, but, I mean, talk about rotation and playability here. And surrounding them, you've got Outlaws, SCC, SJSU Blue, Alabama, Garnet, and Calgary. You know? How did Rampart get banned? It was the most picked coming out of the last game, which honestly makes sense to me. It's a solid pickup, and it's one of the best controller legends right now. So expect to see Caustic in high fervor. And we already started seeing the Watson as well, so those two are going to bounce around here. If I had to guess what the next ban is going to be, probably Mad Maggie or Sparrow, just given the propensity of some of these teams. Could start to see Gibby pop up, by the way, too, especially with Mad Maggie maybe on their way out soon. Anyways, KSU, they're all the way. KSU Gold, Street Market. We'll see if they can make 8 points here. Cumberland University need 11. They're going to be in Boardwalk. Anybody else? Fisher and Ottawa. Fisher is going to be competitive towards Stadium. This time around, they do have KP available towards Black, Crimson Tide, and Garnet. So we'll see if they send it on any one of those rosters. And then Ottawa, all the way down here in Blossom. All right, guys. Officially on to E-District, Game 5. 20 squads remaining. We jump into Western Outlaws, already in the heat of battle against Southern Mississippi. Mississippi here. Line drive on the Pain. They're trying to make up a huge chunk of KP for themselves. Remember, Southern Mississippi a little bit further away than the rest of these squads at 23 points. They need 37 with a knock drop response just as quickly from Goblin on top. You can see why it has been such a slouch and slow day for the likes of the Mississippi roster.
On your feet.
My tummy hurts. Just saying. Not much more to say than that, but my tummy hurts.
Upgraded and good to go. Look at me now, Papa.
G7's got the
They should not have given up their position.
Fisher Esports is pulling one of the oldest plays in the book. A little bit of some rotations here. Down below now with the scan. Up above, Slothulous to drop into this line. Drive with the beam. Charge rifle for them. I say that shit way too much, guys. I gotta come up with something fresher. All right, whatever. Well, Apex is struggling. We lost out on the lost out.
Over there.
He disconnected. That's never the place you want to see Fisher, and now they have to slow their pace. Bellevue University on match point for the scenario, and they haven't changed just about anything out. They're just as aggressive as they've always been, but remember, this can always come with risk. See that pathline escape right into the heart of Rusty G. Snipes out and away, and they've led the fight here against SCC now, but those long-range snipes could be SCC or they could be a third party. It really depends for them, depending, well, where they present. Full thirst on the Rusty G, and they turn themselves around. Does look like with that escape, that's probably the SCC roster, especially given that I only see two, and yes, the pull-out to map confirms it. They are in the height and the heart of zone. We're either going Neon Square or, more importantly, right to where Bellevue is here. If they can maintain that height, that's very good. But it's not a very good spot for the early game on E-District. You really want to set up towards City Hall and work your way out, or just playing a little bit later there. So that early arrival could come back to bite them. We'll see how it goes. Alabama, we checked in with them and asked, is Fisher going to send this? Meanwhile, Ottawa v. Mobius. Ottawa the leaders for now against Utah. Ottawa a little bit less further away from central position. Only need 27 points to get on to match point. Zach W. Keys with a drop on another member of SCC. And it looks like for that SCC roster, being picked apart by the Wolves here. Yeah.
Waste him.
Cumberland University. A couple of quick beams here as they'll set themselves up in the ball, trying to hold out. And meanwhile, the rest of the roster finding what I can only assume is that last remaining member of SCC. So, SCC done and dusted. A couple quick 3 KP for Cumberland, which will set them up to just about 52 points. Cumberland needs 8 more points roughly to get there on their way. Calgary, a little bit of revenge from Southeastern here. Now a 2v1 scenario with Avery low and a defensive bombardment down. You've made it a 1v1. Let's shoot to the edge. And it is 3 games in a row here that Calgary wipe the Southeastern trio. How? When do we learn our lesson? Southeastern, Coach Zephyr tuning in. Run away. Leave Calgary alone. Ottawa, a couple of quick pops and a blank there on Temez, and the University of Utah are down to 1 final remaining member. Seriously, Southeastern, if we get to World's Edge, well, it's probably not on World's Edge because you're not literally next to them. Just stop running into them. Jesus Christ. Hey, Coozer! Welcome back, brother. Serious questions for River. Let those bones get top 20. That's the crazy thing. This is Chud-like behavior. I'm sorry, Southeastern, you're doing it to yourself. I don't mean to be rude, but you guys are playing like Chuds. If you know you're good, like, have some self-decency, suck up your fucking pride, and realize you can't beat Calgary. So stop moving into them. Look it up and run away. All right, Serial Cat with the knock on the Lost Aimer. And we've technically got that 2v2 scenario for Fisher. They still don't have Sloth. This is about as bad as it gets for Fisher Esports, especially in the chase for that top 60 points. They would need 22, but I don't think it's going to be this game. Wait, low-key, though, Tim with the G is trapped because he knows they're bad. Jesus. Well, Calgary will get out of zone for now as we tune in with Bellevue. They just got the knock on the KSU, and I'm telling you guys, right now, this is a distinct god spot. Minnesota with a full wipe against FSU Garnet, and the lower leagues are getting destroyed. If you laugh, you go to hell. I know these guys. Hey! You two, you're playing the game right now. You're currently in lobby. Don't you be spoiling. Don't you be spoiling in my chat. Get your ass back in game. You guys are players. You're discriminated against here right now. This is Carby typing, sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is my girlfriend from another high school. Sorry. Casey Gold. We have an exchange there. Revive's gonna come through nonetheless. Wreck Emporium's gotta get back to the building that B. This play is gonna extend nonetheless here. Couple of nades to pressure this one out, to give them a little bit of coverage from behind the table. This play looking, finds that initial burn there, doesn't even get burned back. Couple of exchanges for the revive, and they're getting choked out from Cumberland on the side. Motherfucker, it's Kennesaw versus Kennesaw.
You ain't dead yet. You don't know.
Every single time KSU Gold or KSU Black send it on to Kennesaw respectively. These two schools, I mean, this school could not have the worst luck when it comes to screwing over Kennesaw esports. Kennesaw's biggest nightmare is Kennesaw. KSU Black will be eliminated inside that cubby, and I don't know if Kennesaw Gold will continue to survive there. Cumberland are quick to potentially send it onto them in that feed. As we take a look, that's one final remaining member. Zach W keeps getting that full thirst onto Aegis, and there's only one final member remaining. Hey, that's the joke. I didn't make up the joke, Wizard. God. You guys take this shit too seriously. Would you, can you guys just level with me? I'm so shitty at speaking sometimes. Just, all right, live up. All right, Southern Miss up on high. Calgary will inevitably be found out by the chase from Fisher here. Shout out to Calgary. They came what they did here to do. They're the anti-Southeastern squad, and then they leave the lobby. If I start drinking now, do you think Matchpoint will last long enough for me to get drunk? No. Gravity with the long-range snipes on the Viking cap, making a name for himself as always. Meanwhile, Southern Miss, like I said, working their way into City Hall from the north. That's Western Outlaws just across from them. Pain. Lock Sanity here. Take their time. Utah Valley Black, really not much better themselves. They're already breaking out the Revenant here. This early. Depends on your pace. Very true. You can get drunk as quickly as you want. It just depends on how many shots you take in the next 2 minutes. It's the difference between one shot and 40. 40 shots is pretty big.
Enemy here.
I'll take a shot every time someone hits. Real. You sound like misplays. Someone, give me an alcohol check on KSU right now. Are these boys pumping and dumping? Guys, too drunk. All right. Western Outlaws in the heart here. We saw them against USM, who are trying to pry to pressure with a bit of a nade exchange. They don't really have the line on them. Quick peek around the bend, and Western Outlaws have the edge of the gnome there. Really nice beam with the, I mean, RE45 and the EMP. This is a good lead into this fight, but I fear they're not going to punish the damage. Meanwhile, Temple Cherry just biding their time, looking to third party this exchange. Mind you, Bellevue's still alive. All right,
right here.
Western Outlaws, USM, they don't even know their pinch. Quick burn there. With the rest of the USM roster starting to step up, I can only imagine this doesn't end well for either one of these squads. You got Temple Cherry on their haunches, just waiting to get involved here. And the longer this takes, the more likely this is going to happen. So, couple quick beams as we do start to see USM turn the tide of this fight. The drill from around the back there, and that might be finally the knock. TU the Giggler as Templar steps up to actually get that first knock here. Maybe it's a little too early from Temple. 2KP exchanged. Temple are in that fight a little bit quickly there. Meanwhile, that might be the last remaining member Western. That might be Temple. Either way, Dallas burned out here, and full wipes for Western Outlaws are going to come through nonetheless. 14 squads remaining. 3 to go. Remember, it's the height on the south side of the zone that is oh so important, and albeit Bellevue holds the God spot, it seems like Ottawa, Alabama, Fisher are going to work into this place just as much, and that could push Bellevue down into a position where they aren't going to be so dominant. If you guys are rooting for any of these other squads, you want Ottawa or Fisher to pressure Bellevue back. Granted, playing into those buildings towards that western side is just so good. I mean, it's gonna, Jesus, like, guys, they're setting themselves up for a very good endgame here. Cumberland University just as quickly finds knock onto Mobius. We might be spelling the end of Utah just as quickly. Newcastle revives as the gas will slow things down. We'll say goodbye to Temple Cherry at the hands of SJSU as Cumberland continue to dip, dive, and weed. Bring around the Rosie to the other building they'll go. Utah has survived the initial utility onslaught. In the end, they are still in the heart of zone. Western Outlaws inevitably found out as that final remaining rat here at the hands of SJSU. Meanwhile, looks like Fisher are going to meet their maker fairly quickly here. Dom 2 crack done, and it is just Serial Cat and maybe Sloth. Either way, Parks eliminated. Utah Valley Black picked apart. Illini, not much longer for this world as you see that final beam come through from Logan. A couple revives stuck around the corner here. You can only assume that's got to be Fisher. Yeah. Fisher done and dusted here. 9 squads to go, and Bellevue are already... This is so smart from Bellevue. They understand they need to win from height. So they turn their attention towards that choke from Ottawa. Now, it isn't a perfect third-party situation, so they're not going to come to capitalize. But guys, I'm fucking terrified. This is like the prime real estate for Bellevue to become an influential successor. All they have to do is hold this space. And the rest of the lobby, I don't know if they've been counting. I mean, the best defense against Matchpoint is to win a game. Seriously, that's the only thing you can really do if you're not thinking too heavily. And especially with legend bans, how heavily are you thinking? Oh, God. All right, zones to cross. Cumberland's got a bit of pressure in the buildings themselves here. But remember, so many teams aren't in this height position. Minnesota State Mavericks might move down to the buildings below. Ottawa still up on height, but Bellevue is holding them on that choke there. For the rest of these teams starting to move out. SJSU Blue is negative rotating. Maybe trying to hold out the very edge of zone. Here comes the evac. Southern Miss are going to look for the sky. Oh, we missed out on a very obvious drop. Damn it. Come on. We knew they were going to choke out that evac. We jumped back in a little bit too much. Either way, you saw it. They were gonna shoot the evac down as it went through. They steal the evac there, even though they don't get that final wipe against USM. They're gonna dodge out surprisingly all the damage from that, but they are gonna be flying into the heart of the edge here. Utah has more than 0 chance. Let's just see if they win. SJSU Blue does get some of those full final wipes there. USM still in as a duo. Remember, if we are going to a future game here, Cumberland University need 11 points. KSU Gold, who I still think is in the lobby, need 8. Yeah, KSU Gold are still in the lobby, so it's very competitive for the end.
I see somebody right here.
KSU Gold might be looking for this exchange against Minnesota up on height. They've got the scans and the half. This would be very good. I don't have a ton of faith in Ottawa versus Bellevue, but I have a little bit of faith of KSU Gold versus Bellevue. Still, they have to win this fight against Minnesota confidently. A rolling thunder put down from Schmal to delay the climb to height here. But KSU Gold are going to wait this out and look for it. Even this play is just going to full take that one out instead. Instead, just as Aegis. A couple of quick wraps from the back end. It is the heart of zone for Bellevue University, looking for their success story. Now, I know we like to rag on collegiate teams a lot here, but you gotta hope they're smart enough to know they're still in. Smalls gets the wipe on the misplays, and it's nightmarish. Not a full knock. All right, here we go. SJSU Blue fighting on the edge of zone, competing for space in the building ahead here. Gas traps make this a hard exchange. It's a good barrel start. Still, Mad Maggie with the burn. Viking Cap looking for another re-entry. SJSU Blue, though, just as quickly pumped out their own way. The University of Utah trades for trades here on the edge of zone. Narwhal Boy forced to exchange the end Newcastle, but final shots will get the job done. 8 teams remaining, and one of them is Bellevue. Final rotates there for University of Utah. 7 teams remaining, and one of them is Bellevue. Goddamn. I don't choose zone. I don't choose just about anything. We'll see how it goes, but this is God's spot for Bellevue. It could not be worse. Voddery's got a deep line drive dock with the Kraber on to Logan. This could be full wipes here. Sparrow ultimate exchange, and they're putting damage down. If you're Ottawa, you just need something. Here we go. OU Cloak in his own response there, and they're getting wrapped from behind. No, focus towards Bellevue. You absolute goons. They turn towards Minnesota. God damn it. Ottawa now pinched between Minnesota and Bellevue's just going to let them fight this out. 4 squads remaining. Ottawa, Minnesota in their own fucking battle. Okay, so Ottawa does win that out. Bellevue are going to try to start extending their pressure onto Cumberland here, but if Cumberland send this squad, Bellevue's just going to win. If Cumberland send this squad, Bellevue wins. Okay, good beams, good drill.
Right here.
I mean, I don't mean to hate on Bellevue, but I mean, they're literally, Bellevue is just playing this small. They're not even making like a grand-tastic decision making. All right, here it comes. Cumberland goes for the send on the exchange. It's a knock onto Cloak, a knock onto Slasher. There's only 2 people up for both of these rosters. There goes Maple down. Bellevue is the only full 3-person roster, and it could not be worse than this. All right. We fucked it. We fucked it. Full wipes here, and Bellevue don't even have to do anything. They just have to clean it up. Motherfucker. Why are we all so bad? That wasn't even impressive. It was just basic mathematics. Basic fucking Apex. What are we doing? That, I love watching the rest of the lobby just completely fucking int each other, and then Bellevue walks in and kills 1 person. What are we doing? All of you are complete dumbasses. Like, legitimate dumbasses. Cumberland deserves the worst of the bunch here. I don't know what Cumberland was doing, but that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. You're on Matchpoint. Why are you inting any team? You know there's 3 teams. You know there's 3 teams if you're Cumberland. If you don't successfully clean that fight, you're going to get third-partied and wiped. You only take that fight with sheer confidence that you know it's Bellevue. And I know for a fact they didn't know it's Bellevue. So you have to play for the dub. And that is not playing for the dub. That is playing for second place. You're a fucking failure. Cumberland, back to the drawing board. Delete the whole fucking roster. Completely useless. You let Bellevue win in the most easiest way. The easiest possible way. You look like you've never played Matchpoint in your complete life. You've never played Matchpoint ever, if that was your decision right there. What are you doing? All right. It does look like we're going to get into a game 6 to decide seeding. I don't think that was going to be the plan. So, either way, it does look like we get a final game 6. We're going to remove Bellevue from the lobby. Is everyone just like crash out? I'll be honest with you. I have never seen... I'm like, seriously, I've watched Collegiate Apex, and I've coached Collegiate Apex for like 2 years now. I have never seen such a terrible chunk of decision making than what I just saw from that lobby in that final moment. Right? Like, these last few years of Collegiate have gotten more competitive, more competitive, more competitive. That Matchpoint tournament, I'm so glad that's not the final one and there's no money on the line and this is just for seeding. But you absolutely have to be completely bricked to be whatever. All right? Would you rather play with Jack's aim or this lobby decision making? This. Waffles still gaming. We got one more game, Waffles. Bellevue won Matchpoint finals in the most anticlimactic ways. By the way, I'm not mad at Bellevue at all. Like, at all. Bellevue did everything right. Bellevue takes a couple of easy fights early game. Cool. Bellevue goes directly to the heart of playable zone. Bellevue lets the rest of the lobby play out. They could have intercepted a good cleanup on Ottawa towards that choke. They don't. Because they know they would pressure it. Congratulations. Bellevue put themselves back in the thing, and they let the lobby play like a bunch of fucking monkeys. And then they win. All right? Congratulations, Jukesy. Congratulations, Voddery and Muffins. You guys... Someone knows how to play Apex. Holy shit. Waffles, by the way, thank you so much for the resubscription at a 3 months. Oh, there's a game 6, LMAO. Yeah, you're not in it, Sloth. Sloth, did you even really get to play that game? By the way, real quick checkup on Sloth. It is a seeding game 6. Over under Fisher 7.5 in that game 5 for you betters. It was an under again. God damn. You know how we were talking about going bald? You might now after the bullshit that just happened. So true, bro. God, bro. You think they should int us? No, no one should int in that situation. Remember, the best defense against Matchpoint will always be winning the game. And especially if you're 3 teams remaining. If you're Ottawa or Cumberland, you have to force your best prediction. You have to force one of the teams into the other. All right? That's simple. That's simple, right? It's not complex. If you don't need to understand, great. You just have to play it smart. So, and I can't blame Ottawa too much because Ottawa's pinched there. Ottawa cannot move into Bellevue territory without losing the game, and Ottawa cannot move into the street without losing the game. Ottawa doesn't have a decision there, really. Unless Ottawa does some incredible mobility and just happens to pick Bellevue correctly there. That's the difference. Ottawa's trying to win from height the best they can. Cumberland did not have to make that exchange. All right? Slasher's getting beaten for this. Slasher is getting beaten for this. Slasher's getting absolutely reamed for this. I don't know where Slasher is right now, but that has got to be the most aggravating end to a match point I've ever seen. If Cumberland was Tamu, I would be taking away their penis rights. Like that. Well, technically it can't work. Either way, congratulations to so many of these teams. We still have one game. And ultimately, it's going to be seeding on the board. Cumberland team on their way to jump Slasher. I want to get Slasher in here just to hear why. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I just want to get Slasher in here to hear why. What is the decision there? Or who made that decision? Fisher not in the lobby because they didn't realize there was going to be another game. So we are going to be starting without 2 teams. Bellevue is removed, of course, because they won, etc. We weren't. Thanks, Goat. What up, Voddery? Why are you atting me? What's up? Oh, congratulations, Vod, by the way. I didn't know if you heard it. You missed half my rant. You missed the absolute crash out of all time right there. Jukesy almost threw up mid-game. He's got Las Vegas sickness. Fucking, and it was a LeBron game. It was the Jordan flu game. Why did I just say fucking Jordan flu game, bro?
Spotted a subject right here.
Man's on the Jordan flu game. God damn it. We weren't trying to we just had to push them off height or die to pinch ourselves. No. Ottawa doesn't get to make that cross there, bro. Heard the whole tangent, don't worry. Good. Congratulations, Vod. You guys are absolutely superb. Excellent. Genuinely excellent. I cannot wait to make a video. I'd love to make a video. The problem is we've got playoffs coming around like tomorrow. So.
Shall we head this way?
You guys have sucked the energy out of this final game. Illini orange, point blank with unpushed to go. Are you covering plans for contenders for open? Yeah, I am. I'll try to cover tomorrow. 20 beans. Jukesy's up 20 pennies, everybody. Get on that fucking ride because they ain't printing them anymore.
Evo harvesters are now available.
Spectate me the whole game? Donut, I don't. Oh, maybe. We'll see. Oh, college tuitions make the best gamblers. Don't gamble. I don't endorse gambling unless they pay me lots of money to endorse gambling. This is the Zephyr proof right now. I don't endorse gambling because I don't gamble and I don't prove it. But if they pay me like $100 million to endorse gambling, I'll gamble. I'm that simple. I'm a very simple man. I really don't care. You either get LeBron or LaMelo Ball.
Hey, time to move that way.
Enemy down. Game on, Raga.
Cumberland University making up for complete fucking failure here. And they shoot like failures too. Alright.
Target spotted.
If I was Cumberland, I'd take the game off. I'd go VOD review game 5. Ah. Calgary's wiped out here. This time it is at the hands of SEC slightly, so looks like the Southeastern squad can get a response that they love and know. Utah Valley Black. Well, up for height, trade for trades on the height. They'll finish off Temple Cherry, and to be honest, this game is just gonna collapse on itself. We cleared the entire side and we're in a bad spot. Had to make a play, slasher. No. Wrong. Completely wrong. Cumberland University sending for send. Maple down from Lucky. Still 2v2 scenario there. Point blank in the corner. B's brought back, and it is going to be a quick cleanup on the rest of the SCC roster. You can hear where that battery is. Trying to exchange wall. Taking revives down below. Going to address it with the zip line there, and point blank, Cumberland will send it. There he goes. Wow, they actually don't even get that. There we go. Final wipes there, and Cumberland, just as quickly as this comes through, are going to be third-partied almost immediately. Zach W. Keith's running for the low ground, will inevitably be found out, and Blue Falcons will put these damn fucking idiots, hopefully, to rest. Come on, chase them out. Zephyr, would you cast upper tomorrow? Are you going to get playing round 2? I'm going to try for playing as well. Alright. Cumberland's done. Get him out of here. Never been noticed. What even happened? How'd they win with 2 kills? Was it a 2-kill win? Oh my god, I didn't even notice that. Don't tell me it was a 2-kill win. It was. God.
Let's go that way.
Guys, what are we doing?
Go there now.
Zephyr, will you glaze me on your whole stream tomorrow? If you play well, bro. Dude, it's game 6 of a pity match point. Don't even do that. All right, Southeastern Blue Falcons. I mean, we're wiping for fun at this point. University of Utah Valley Blacks gonna see what KP they can pick up. To be honest with you, this isn't gonna change standings. I mean, this will change standings, but by how much, really? A couple teams will switch up a little bit of seeding. I don't think teams really care about seeding. There we go. Point blank, Illini Orange in the heart of Energy Bank, and we're down to 10 squads remaining on a round 1 close. Southern Miss here are going to take us to 9 fairly shortly because Viz, Dallas, and Mank lead for what might be their send against Florida State University. Seminoles don't understand the pressure that lies in that game. I'll bet 5 ARs and under. Man, I was malding so hard, I didn't even start another prediction. Viz gets pressure back by FSU, and they realize just as quickly that they can't quite send it on to FSU with that much confidence. Meanwhile, UVU, with their start against Gravity in the Minnesota roster, could lead us to our 9 officially. Looks like FSU going to play the inside for now. I don't even know if this is hard zone. They're just kind of in. Full wipes, Badger onto Gravity there, and the final remaining member of Minnesota State Mavericks is going to be chased out to the choke. It is officially Schmalls, already shot in the back there, out and away. One final bit of misclarity on the edge of that smoke. Well, actually gives Schmalls his safety. Schmiggles leads the pack here, but I can't say it's going to be much better for Schmalls there. Finally, Dallas with a knock onto Daxon over on the side, and Southern Miss should lead for the win. Get a full Thurston. It's Balvini guy and Roll Hollow up above. What are you going to do? Gets the ball, climb up back to height, and they've committed for just about nothing. Balvini done, and they already know where Little Hollow is. FSU Garnet eliminated. Minnesota out of the pack here. 8 squads remaining. I mean, we're literally looking at a minor highlight reel. KSU Gold, KSU Black, Western, University of Utah. Utah could look for the send on to this hike. To be honest, half these teams just want to get this done, I think, at this point.
Let's look over there.
I got one over there.
Alright. When is shit ending? I'm trying to play 3v3s. Whenever this game ends. This is just a quick game 6 seeding.
Enemy here.
Spotted one.
I like how with that game, by the way, that game 5, I literally called out that Cumberland are gonna send it because I could sniff it, bro. I could smell that shit from a mile away. Put Cumberland fucking Premier or play-ins round 1. They deserve it. SJSU Blue eliminated in the meanwhile. KSU Gold full wipes there. I don't know if we'll see much more past this. They got a couple of early scans, but the Ultimate's at least giving way to the fact that they're targeting there. Beams back, and they're getting shot from afar. USM, remember, in the heart of this area. Maybe a couple quick sends instead. A singularity to pull make back for now. It's going to delay the full send. Utah working their way into Western Outlaws at the same time. Utah Valley Black looking for a chase of their own here. Utah University wipes. Utah Valley Black. How are we getting knocked there, bro? Your teammate fully walked away from that. KSU Black. I think they just misjudged this completely. Alright, well, we got point blank with nowhere to go, and KSU Black are more than happy to make the cost of checks work for it.
We should go that way.
Guys, can you believe I dressed up for this, too? Put on the suit and everything. USM. Just gonna clean up case. This might be that final remaining member. Yeah, Schmiggles from Utah Valley Black said no, this is UVU.
Moving that way.
When does Ralph play? Is there another lobby? Play-ins will begin tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'll try and make a quick announcement on Twitter and whatnot, but that will be the start of the lower-ended teams. And honestly, I'm not even kidding you guys. You guys should come check out. If you're, I know we all like to watch Premier primarily because it is the creme de la creme, the height of the height. Albeit today they looked like the bottom of the bottom. Some of these lower-ended teams like Open and Contenders, I've watched a few of the games. It actually gets close. Like, it looks like competitive lobbies. Shout out, by the way, when my stream was chucking out last week, when we had the top, like, 11 versus 30, that was the best lobby I've seen all year. When you cut out the complete bottom shitters of Premier and the hyper-aggressive inters of Premier, which, by the way, half of them are inters, half of them are that much better. Holy shit, that was so good. Watch Upper Round 1B tomorrow. It'll be Cinema Trust. Honestly, guys, I'll put a vote out. I'll put a vote out in general chat of Octane to help you guys make that decision. All right, top 5 squads remaining. 3 rounds to go. KSU Black, Utah, KSU Gold, Southern Miss, and Crimson Tide. Let's take a look at the seeding real quick while we got a chance. KSU Black serves to make the best improvement here, I think, alongside Alabama. KSU Black is in 12th. Alabama is in 14th. So if they turn this around, this would put them in the top 8 for KSU. Utah's already in the top 7, so they're looking to surpass a couple of these teams here. They should finish in the top 5, probably, with this final finish. Yeah, with misplays and wrecks going down, KSU Gold, even though they are in the top 3 right now for seeding, they're safe. they'll stay relatively high up there. Ottawa's already out of the equation, and so,
Contact with target.
I mean, Utah's going to get a couple of extra fresh KP that will push them into roughly the top 5, especially since Fisher didn't get to join us this game. All right.
Hostile
But yeah,
spotted.
like I said, this is a KSU Black Alabama recovery game.
Target spotted.
Alabama was in 14th, KSU was in 12th, both respectively with about 16 points. Even jumping up to 30 points for either one of them would put them in the top 10. Big seeding game. KSU, they'll be happy with their probable top 3 or top 4 finish. Southern Miss is going to commit over the side, but finds himself in the heart of Alabama here. Southern Miss, all but the same. Remember, they're in 8th place right now, so getting some good points here would put them in the top 6 or top 5. They're going to get beams and a half back on Alabama. So Alabama's journey might be ended a little bit abruptly here, but even still, a couple of good beams, and Mississippi's going to take the time to get those resets. Bama pulls their way back with Dallas back in the playing field, and we'll see. Ultimately, giving Southern Miss the chance to recover here is never good when you're playing up against Alabama. Meanwhile, for KSU Black, they've got an easy peek here on University of Utah. Kindly Monkey, charged rifle in hand. I can only assume might be that zip up above them. Remember, Utah can also serve to make a bit of a jump. The bigger the game for Utah, the closer. Misplays! Thank you for the raid of yourself, bro. Absolute banger. Banger. Absolute banger, brother. All right. Well, top 4 is at least 5 points for Alabama, so that puts them at 21. That's tied for 11. If they got any KP, they're in 10th right now for Alabama. So I don't think they out-survive 4th place. Unless the end is nigh for KSU or Utah, I think this is it. So a couple double breaks. There's Guillermo. One final remaining member here of Alabama on the escape, and they should finish probably top 10. Albeit still, though, top 10 versus top 14. I mean, a couple of picks. Either top 10 or top 9 now on the reseeding there. KSU Black versus Utah. Woo! Beam and a half there. KSU Black, they might serve to actually really reap the rewards from this. Sadly for Kindly Monkey, misses the beam that should count here. Still back up to height, trade for trade. Back in the building. Narwhal Boy is brought down. You have to wonder, when is University of Mississippi gonna get in? Here we go. Narwhal Boy to be full thirsted. And my only question is, where is USM? USM would absolutely use them on this height. Seriously. All right, full thirst there. KSU Black, mind you, if they get 9 points for second, push themselves all the way up to 25, which would be the top 10. A little extra KP to push could be a top 8 finish, but Southern Miss is going up here, so maybe not. I think the height for KSU Black is probably Southern Miss compete for a jump up into the top 5, especially with Christian. So.
Friendly trap there.
Mez dropped down, wiped out from USM, and University of Utah are down to just 1 remaining member. And now they're done. All right. KSU versus USM, 3v3. Place your bets, 30 seconds. Start prediction, KSU, USM. KSU, USM. Get your bets in, 30 seconds. Get your bets in, guys, 30 seconds to make a decision. KSU versus USM. Place your bets.
Let's go this way.
This shit's gonna end before then. Oh no. Oh no. KSU Black. They got a bit of a break. KSU Black is pushing back by the Snare Ultimate. Down to the low ground. Beam for beams. Dallas versus Elixir. A quick turnaround for the full thirst. A shield swap for Void. Oh, Kindly Monkey gets burned back just as quickly. It peeked through the other side of the door, and Kindly Monkey's the last remaining member. Gonna take the Ashport? He takes the Ashport, dives around the edge, gets the wipe onto Viz. A 1v1 scenario here now. Teleports up to height, up on high. Kindly Monkey, 1 single bullet, and Southern Miss pick up that final W bet. Congratulations to Southern Mississippi. And the bet was... How the fuck did some of you... Alright. Congratulations to the funny... A couple of you who did actually bet on that. let's take a look at the final scoreboard of the day, because this is going to determine seeding for tomorrow. And afterwards, I'll tell you about the schedule. So stick around if you want to see the schedule. So, at the end of it all, Bellevue will still work away with that win. Cumberland with second place seeding. KSU Gold, of course, with third. Southern Miss do make an exchange, quite a hearty one at that. Move up 4 placement positions with that final game and knock Ottawa Braves and Fisher and Southern SJSU Blue down a peg. Utah also makes a little bit of a jump there, but it's only by 1 placement. KSU Black, like I said, one of the bigger ones to reap a reward here, especially surviving there into the top 2. They go all the way to 9th. Realistically, though, the rest of these teams don't make much of an exchange. Utah Valley Black makes the next hardier one with 6 kills. It's a kind of top 4. So your top 5, Bellevue with the dub on the day, Cumberland with the monkey play, KSU Gold, drunk as ever could be, Southern Miss, happy as they be, Ottawa Braves, yeah, never really made it, Matchpoint, Utah, etc., Fisher, SJSU, KSU Black, Calgary, etc. Congratulations. Let's take a look at the schedule for tomorrow. So tomorrow, we will be starting with the bottom end of the bracket. So to contextualize, we have Premier League, which is the hype. Here's the hype. This is your NFL. Actually, let's do MLB. This is your MLB. This is your Shohei Ohtani. Then we go down to the minor leagues. That's your contenders. All right. And then below that, we go to, I don't know, college. That's usually where we're pulling from for minors. Sometimes they pull directly into MLB, but yeah, a lot of those guys are. So G League. If it's NBA, it's G League. Either way, down below, that's open. We have now reorganized these teams into a multitude of brackets. Teams like today, the top 20 Premier, they get to skip all the way to semifinals, given how good they are. The lower ended teams in open and in contenders will be playing tomorrow. So we have our first set of the lower round 1 at 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 12 p.m. PST tomorrow. Or wait. That should be tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that's tomorrow. I say that says November 16th. I'm a little bit confused there. Pretty sure it's November 15th. Either way, 2 p.m. tomorrow, we've got some level of a bracket. So we will be with that. I believe that's lower round 1. Of course, yes. Play-in round 1A. Oh, that's lower round. Okay, so there's a play-ins before this. Open and contenders. This is not shown on the graphic, but there is a play-ins of the shittiest squads ever. That's at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Come check it out. It might be inty. It might be good. We'll see. We'll tell some storylines. Who knows? Beyond that tomorrow evening will begin the playoffs in upper round 1, where we have the top 10 or 10 premier teams versus 10 contenders teams. This is the first time we will start to see squads begin relegation, right? No one in this upper bracket will be eliminated. This is the play-in graphic. I'm going to open this, and I bet it's not. Yeah, no. All right. Then, the following day, November 16th, we'll take a look at the lower round. All right? So, that should be it for this weekend. And then, beyond that, November 22nd, that's when we start breaking into the further rounds. November 23rd, we finish on the lower round. We got the double semifinals on December 6th, and then the final. This is where the money's at on December 7th, the official Matchpoint finals. We could have teams from contenders show up. There are shitter squads like Gamerhawks, right? There are squads today, like if we look at the standings, like Southeastern, who maybe won't be in that finals lobby. We just have to wait and see. I want to thank all of you for coming out and supporting tonight. This was one of the better streams we've had, and honestly, it has been a silly, rough week for me. So, congratulations. Thank you all to my goats. We've gotten up to 383,000. I don't know if we'll get much further than that. Sorry, apologize. I should have been streaming this week, but ripperoni. I can always extend it. Extend it the 3 or 4 days that I didn't, just because I was silly. Beyond that, thank you guys so much. Let's look for someone to raid. Anyone got any raiders in chat? Twitch is recommending me Fairy Fea, Flinzar, someone Japanese, Omit, Stono Titus, Revenja, Mina Resmi, Das Antiq, Exala, Maya Dadali, A Girl Bubbles, Prodigy Aces. I don't know half these people. I don't know any of these people. Madness is streaming. That's funny. Salty Bet is streaming. I love Salty Bet. Panic. Lavillion. I like Lavillion. Raid Swole. Raid Swole. Raid Swole. 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 All right. A little love for the collegiate scene, as always. Is he actually going to keep playing? Of course. All right. We'll raid Swole. Thank you guys so much. You guys can watch an absolute pred grinder if you want to. We'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, noon PST. All right. So, thank you so much. And I guess the only thing I can really say is Slasher's getting beaten for this.